beat so slow. Making love to the beat, girl, it sounds so slow. I'm in fuck with a G, girl, you already know.
Yo, we back again. Word 'em up. Yo, son, we gonna take a little trip up to Maryland, feel me? Shout out to my sister, yo. You haven't heard lately, I drop a verse daily. I'm about to lay the rose petals for boxing first lady. Ask Cash, she not in it for a cash grab. She passionate when she speaking and make the crabs mad. Axie's Corner got the news for the boxing heads. Whether you ball, rockin' waves, or you got the dreads. Cowboys bummy, nose runny, ain't nothing funny. These little dummies will sell their own mommy for insurance money. Tuning in on weekends, my favorite getaway. Giving you the boxing analogy every Saturday. Plus she got a hyperlink, so if you got a dime, spend some time and go to bonfire.com/store/love-in-sports, and you can lurk, hit the search, you could get a shirt. If you ain't learned by now, you never will. She got the clever skills where the sneakers are in high heels. All the cats boring now, they was boring then. There's no defeating her. Ashley's like a meteor, with knowledge like a thesaurus encyclopedia. Them other lame channels remedial, make me sleepier. I tried to warn you, if I say again, your ass are gonna. Y'all informants, get the hell away from Ashley's Corner. You lose a leg if you step a toe past the border. You might say you on the block, but this is Ashley's Corner. Word 'em up. Ash Cash. We in the building, son. Judah Ben. Tell a friend, yo. You might say you on the block, but this is Ashley's Corner.
What is good? What is good? What's good? Fight family, fight people. What's popping? I'm watching this fight. I got the zone on. I'm waiting for the main event to start. Jack Catterall be making me laugh, but if I had to put money on anybody in this main event, it wouldn't be Jack Catterall. That's what I'm going to say. I would say Harlem Eubanks will win this fight, the main event tonight. Well, this evening. Salute to all things in this building first, yo. Salute, salute, salute. Salute. Always supporting. I definitely appreciate you, and do what the man said. Hit the like button when you come in here. What's good, K-Rod? I see you. What's popping? I see you what it is right now. Hold on. Let me do this now before I forget. I'll do it now before I forget. It is. All right. How about the Cordina fight? I don't know that duty fighting. I don't know the duty fighting. Being that Cordina was the IBF champ before he took that L versus that guy that don't really hit, and he took a bad L because he got stopped. Man, I don't really know, but I mean, being that he was a champion, you would think that he would win. You know what I mean? Because he's coming back. Is this fight at 130 or 135? All things. That's my question. Salute to you, Victor. What is good with you, sir? Definitely appreciate you for coming through, King. Big salute to you. But yeah, I want to talk about all the fights coming up. I got something to say about all the fights coming up. I got my shit open today, Don Drickum. I got you. 135. Okay, so is this his first fight at 135 since he lost? Would he took like a year off, 2 years off or something, or am I just missed his last fight? Let me look up Joe Cordina while I'm asking questions. Let me just look it up. Joe Cordina. Yeah, his last fight was his loss versus Anthony Kakasi or whatever his name was at 130 pounds. But it's been a whole year. It was in May of 2024 when he got stopped in the 8th round and he lost his IBO title. Okay, and the guy he's fighting is 17-1 with 13 knockouts, and he's been stopped once too. But yeah, Mexican fighter. Yeah, this might not be a walk in the park. This might not be that type of touch. The guy he got stopped by is a different Hector Garcia. Dolores is a dude named dude was 9-10 that stopped him. 9 wins, 10 losses. Damn, type of day was he having to get stopped by Cuz? I have no idea. Wow. In the 3rd round, KO banged his ass. But Joe Cordina is 17-1 with 1 knockout loss, of course, but he only got 9 knockouts, bruh, in 18 fights. At 17 wins, dude got 9 knockouts. So the guy he fighting got a better knockout rate than him. And you know how the Mexican fighters be coming, so I don't know, yo. It might not be looking real so bright for Joe Cordina. I got you, dog. Not sure yet. Just started watching. Yeah, this the end of that fight. I think it's the end of the fight. What's good with you, TD Sports? What's good with you, the Bronx in the building? What's popping with you? Definitely appreciate you for coming through, King. But okay. Let's start with Belonga and Sherez. Now, Belonga and Sherez, their fight, didn't sell no damn tickets. They sold like 30%, probably 30, almost 30%, probably not even 30% of the tickets, and they closed off, not even including the part that they closed off. The fight is being held in New York. That's supposed to be Edgar Berlanga's, backyard. But them tickets ain't moving. They ain't moving at all. They're not selling at all. I heard people say that, if Shakur was the main event, they would sell. They probably would sell a little more, but I still don't think they would sell like that. You know what I mean? I think New York is kind of mad about the last time they had that fight in Times Square. They sour grapes about that. The fight's not selling. I bought a ticket though. I bet you can sit whatever the hell you want when you go in there. You sit wherever you want. Don't let them tell you shit now. Now Edgar Berlanga is 23-1 with 18 knockouts, 18 knockouts. He's 23-1. He only got 85 rounds under his belt, under 100 rounds. He's 28 years old, 6'1", with a 73-inch reach. Now, Sherez got a 75-inch reach. He's 6'3". And he got 98 rounds, just under 100 rounds himself. He's 21-0 He's 21-0-1. He got 1 draw, no losses, 21 wins, and 17 knockouts. So his knockout percentage is 80.95%. Edgar Berlanga is 78%, 78.26%. But they fight totally different type of competition. You know what I'm saying? He's a UK fighter, and he fights mostly in Wembley and, over there in London. So they have totally different type of opponents. You know what I mean? Shiraz just fought Carlos Adames at 160 pounds. This fight right here is at 168, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but I believe this fight is at 168 pounds. So this is his first fight at a higher weight class. In my opinion, he should have lost that fight. He shouldn't have a draw. He should have a loss versus Carlos Adames because he outboxed him. But I really think a lot of people think hands down Edgar Berlanga is going to stop or just win this fight, and it's an easy win for Edgar Berlanga. I really don't look at it like that. I don't see it like that, how everybody else see the shit. Salute to you, Teach. What is good with you? What's popping? Say whatever you want, yo. They saying if you buy a ticket, you get a free bag of red. Yo, yeah, that shit was funny, yo. You get a free bag, yo. Yeah, 168. Okay. I hope Berlanga wins just because Turkey, I'll cheat. Did that to Adames. I feel you. A lot of people feel the exact same way. Nobody got no shame in it. A lot of people feel the exact same way. Salute to you, Victor. Definitely appreciate you in the super chat.
This is for the cool.
See, I should let everybody know boxing not entertainment. It is excitement, thrilling. Right. It is. It is. It is. It is. I hurt my damn toe. Oh my God. Definitely appreciate you in the super chat. Invigorating. It definitely is. Especially when you get that knockout, man. Them knockouts be in there, yo. Or, some slick ass boxing and you get to drop your opponent. It has the same type of feeling. Same type of feeling. Definitely hit that like button. Hold on. But Shiraz, in my opinion, yeah, I agree he should have lost when he fought Carlos Adames. But in my opinion, he didn't get dropped in that fight. Like, Carlos Adames was slipping everything. He was throwing punches. Like, he was slick enough in that fight versus Carlos Adames, even though he was backing up on the back foot, moving around, not to get hit or hurt. I would say not to get hurt enough to get dropped in that fight or stopped in that fight. He said he had a hurt hand. I don't know if I believe that. His next fight, he's moving up. Maybe it was a weight issue problem. I have no idea. He didn't really look like the same fighter he did in a fight that I seen him. I don't remember who he fought. And I seen him fight Ammo Williams. He did Ammo Williams dirty. But this is a different type of fight. I just think that people are really sleeping on Shiraz. I think Edgar Berlanga, really nobody looked at him as being any type of good before he fought Canelo. And since he went the distance with Canelo, even though he was dropped, he put a good showing. Everybody think that, he's better than what he was then. There's nothing wrong with that. And he probably definitely is better than what people thought he was. And he does deserve more credit than what he was getting before he fought Canelo. But I don't know if this is a hands-down victory for Edgar Berlanga. And if it is a victory for him, I don't think it's going to be an easy one. If you go in here and knock out Shiraz in under 5 rounds and stuff, and how he talking, you know what I'm saying? It'll be a shock to me. It'll be surprising to me. Turkey ain't push this card at all. That's probably why it's not selling. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, we like boxing and boxing. Like people somebody need to talk to him. Maybe somebody is, and he's just not listening, and he don't care. You know, he don't care about losing money, but it's not good for the fighter's image. You know what I'm saying? It's not good for their pocket. Well, shit, I don't know about their pockets. He might be covering all the losses. Turkey might be covering all types of losses. His low key finna out, but I think he is, man. I think it's people need to give him some credit. I've seen Edgar Berlanga get frustrated with someone that was moving similar to what Shiraz was moving versus Carlos Adames, and he got dropped by a dude. I don't even know who the guy was that Edgar Berlanga was fighting, but the dude dropped him off the back foot and everything. Of course, he went on to win the fight, but you know what I'm saying? This is a guy that got a 2 or 3 inch reach advantage and height advantage on him, and I think he, he has a pretty Suresh got a pretty good jab. He got quick hands, and he can be defensively responsible, and he showed that to me when he did not get dropped or stopped by Carlos Adames, because Carlos Adames was on the hunt for his ass the whole damn fight. The whole damn fight. But hold on. I'm gonna skip that right now. I'm gonna talk about that right now. I don't talk about none of that shit. Do y'all know why did Bob Arum call Devin Haney a track star? Because they don't have nothing. What's going on don't have nothing to do with Top Rank or Bob Arum for real. So why did he call him that? I feel like I'm missing something. But yeah, man, it was a bad look the way he did him. The way he did him was bad. It was disrespectful. Y'all know Tevin Farmer was screaming it was a premature stoppage versus Kid Austin. And I wish I had his speech, his little paragraph he wrote after he lost to Kid Austin, because he was, it was sounding like that was his last fight and he wasn't going to fight anymore. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Like, I don't know. Should Tevin Farmer just leave it, just cut it out? Salute to you, 2 Cents Boxing. Was good with you, Queen. Should Tevin Farmer cut it out? Should he stop boxing? Now, I didn't do no research on people with Tourette's. I didn't do no research on it, but this man been boxing for years. You hear me? Over a decade. He's been boxing for over 10 years. Now, the first time I seen him do what he's been doing lately is when he fought Jojo Diaz. When he fought Jojo Diaz and he was losing that fight somewhere towards the end of the fight, around 9-10 rounds, I seen him doing that shit. That's when I seen him doing that shit for the first time. I didn't know what it was, what he was doing. And I was watching Tevin Farmer work. He just was fighting with Eddie Hearn, and he fought all them UK fighters. He fought like 5 times that 1 year or something like that. He was not doing none of that earlier in his career. He wasn't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So is this something that developed or what? I don't know. But because he's doing it, it always was weird to me how you can focus for real if that's what's going on and you can't control it. It's like, how can your eyes stay or be steady where they're supposed to, especially when somebody's trying to trick you and make you look here so they can punch somewhere else. And this is a dangerous sport, should Tevin Farmer just hang it up? Like, you're a gatekeeper right now. And the way that you just looked in your last fight, I don't even think you should be a gatekeeper, because gatekeepers fight the hungry, up and coming, talented fighters that usually whoop gatekeepers' asses to get where they're going. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, should Tevin? I don't even know how he's being cleared to continue to fight. Am I tripping? How is he being cleared to continue to fight? Like, I wasn't even going to judge his eye in the first place, because he was fighting. He was slick. He was doing his thing. But now with the Tourette's added on to this shit, with the 8 losses, 4 losses in a row and shit. It's like, should this be it? Ran off with them belts. Tevin need to retire. Yeah. Think he might be done. Yeah. Respectfully. It's a dangerous sport. It's a dangerous sport, man. Like his own friend, Kid Austin, used his ass as a stepping stone, a big ass platform. A big ass platform. Salute to you, Kamal Eyes. What's good with you? Definitely appreciate you coming through, King. How you doing?
What's up, Queen? How you doing?
I'm all right.
Always a pleasure to be on with one of the brightest minds in the world and on YouTube talking the sport of boxing.
Definitely appreciate you, King.
I gotta say, with regards to Tevin Farmer, no, what's his name? Kid Austin made him look like Tevin Campbell, but you could, from what I didn't see the fights, but from what I heard, from you and others, Ego and Fanon and others, uh, there was argument that he beat Muratalla and then he beat Zepeda in at least one, maybe two of those fights. So the really only fight that he's kind of looked out of sorts in has been the Kid Austin fight. Am I right or am I tripping?
No, I think you are right. I
So
think you are right.
so to me, I mean, he's got Tourette's, he's got the eye. I really feel bad for him because he didn't need to take that Jojo Diaz fight, and he had a rematch clause on that fight, and that was an optional fight organized by Golden Boy, and they totally ignored the rematch clause, and Eddie Hearn and DAZN dumped him. They said we weren't interested, kind of like what they did with Haney. They said we're not going to pay you all this money because remember a few years ago he was trying to get Tank over there on DAZN to fight him, and he turned down the Showtime offer that Gervonta Tank Davis had offered him and Leonard Ellerby. People want to say that Tank ducked Tevin Farmer. No, Eddie was using Tevin as bait to get Tank to go over there and sign with DAZN, and Tank was like, no. You and Leonard Ellerby and Tank were like, you can fight me over on Showtime, and this is the financial package. And Tevin turned them down, and he ended up fighting Jojo Diaz in a fight nobody asked for. It was a voluntary. He lost the fight, lost his belt, and kind of just faded in obscurity. And Golden Boy and DAZN ignored the rematch clause. So DAZN was like, that was when at Matchroom USA and Eddie Hearn, they dumped Michael Hunter, they dumped Tevin Farmer, because they had signed all these American fighters saying we're going to take over, and then they just unceremoniously cut all of them. Tevin, Michael Hunter, Devin, basically, because DAZN said right when that Lomachenko thing was going on with after Tio and stuff, and what was it? Tio beat Kambosos. DAZN had said we're not in the Devin Haney business anymore. We're not going to pay Tevin Farmer to fight 5 times a year, not get any money for fighting these UK level guys. And so really people don't understand the whole story because they listen to corporate media lies and YouTube echo chambers that are anti-Tank Davis, is that Tevin made a wrong business decision. He could have fought Tank over on Showtime, got knocked out, but still got a career high payday. Instead, he fought Jojo Diaz in a fight nobody was asking for, and then he was cut by Eddie Hearn. Do you remember that as I'm saying it, Ashley, or do I have some facts wrong?
Absolutely. I made a video about it. I keep bringing it up because I think Tevin Farmer is just a very hard-headed individual. Like, he came back saying that, I just didn't learn how to sit on my shots. Like, bro, you got like 40 fights. How can you say you never learned how to sit on your shots after all of this time? Like, for real, it's a lot of things that Tevin Farmer thought about himself that just wasn't true. He sat there and told Ellie Setback that he had a better defense than Floyd. I was like, yo, what is wrong with Tevin? Like, and you're right. You're absolutely 100% right. He did arguably win versus Muratalla in one of those fights versus Zepeda. He did look. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I can admit when I'm wrong because I did have him outboxing Kid Austin. I did, but shit. That man seems like his problem with the Tourette's is getting worse. So I mean, regardless of how he was fighting, because people know that they can rush Tevin Farmer the way, you know what I'm saying, Kid Austin did. I was just asking. This is a dangerous sport, and I don't know how he's going to look versus the upcoming killers, because that's all they're going to put him against. He just lost twice in a row, and then he got a Kid Austin fight. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but I don't know his financial situation. Then again, Golden Boy, who is it they had? They had somebody. I think it was Virgil Ortiz. One of these fights, he fought a guy who had an aneurysm, like an active aneurysm. Somehow that guy, a brain aneurysm, that guy got cleared. One of Virgil Ortiz's comeback fights when he moved up to 154 after they had strung along Stanionis for all those years, and he kept on pulling out of the Stanionis fights for like Rabdo because he was cutting too much weight, basically because he was draining himself to get to 147 when he should have been at 154 or 160, kind of like what Haney's doing. But Haney's got he's got Victor Conte to help him out with
I
that.
was just about to say, you got Victor. Salute to you, the family thing. I see you in the super chat. Definitely appreciate you in the super chat with the super sticker.
This is for the cool.
Golden Boy had somebody cleared who had an active brain aneurysm to fight Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah.
So I don't know what these commissions doing in every state that because like I think it was Danny Jacobs was fighting Chavez Jr. Ironic, Chavez Jr. is now in the news, but I think the California State Athletic Commission or Nevada State Athletic Commission rejected the fight. So Eddie Hearns just moved that fight to Arizona. You remember that?
What fight is it?
It was Danny Jacobs versus Chavez Jr.
Oh my gosh, man!
One of those
to make the buck. Anything to make that dollar.
These state commissioners, no uniform commission, right? Because they were wanting to make the fight, I think, in L.A. with Danny. This was a few years ago whenever they were fighting. It was either L.A. or Nevada. And then one of the states said that something was wrong with Chavez Jr. They wouldn't clear him to fight. And so Eddie Hearns just moved the fight to Phoenix. That's when Chavez Jr. quit on the stool, and they were throwing beer cans at him. And do you remember that? When he against Danny Jacobs, he just quit. It wasn't like he was getting beat up.
Wow, yo. Chavez he got some stories, man. He can write an awful sloppy ass book. For real.
That guy's a character. When he eat from eating in his pink underwear on HBO, eating cereal and shit.
Oh,
I always thought he could be an actor. Him and Victor Ortiz, they got some personalities where they could get into acting. I don't know now with Chavez Jr., but he could definitely. He's a character.
Oscar too. Oscar had a hell of a personality.
Oh, Oscar does too. Oscar is he's set though. He saved his money. He did his money the right way. I don't know what Chavez Jr. has done, but you remember that story when he fought? Who was that guy that Adonis Stevenson beat up twice? The Polish guy. I forgot his name. He was trained by I think he was trained by Virgil Hunter. But that was Chavez Jr.'s first fight over with the PBC when he left Top Rank. And after that's a fight he quit on the stool. He was just getting beat up, and he was like, "No more." That was his first time quitting. And then after the fight, it leaked him with like 5 prostitutes in a hotel room. Man. You remember that?
Oh my God! Yo.
He had the 4 million.
He had the 4. He used to always be in his drawers.
Yeah, he was in his drawers. There were just like 5 women in the hotel room, and this guy's married, and it was just he had like his check, and it was like a $5 million check from PBC and Al Heyman. It was in the hotel room with them.
You fast forward to present day, you got Chavez Jr. Deported by ISIS and all the stuff that's going on with him.
That's crazy. And my thing is this. So Mexico issued an arrest warrant against him in like 2023, according to what I saw. So he was just allowed to stay. And then they let him go through with the Jake Paul fight when they could have arrested him before. And then right after the fight, they deported him.
Wow. They wanted to confiscate his money.
If I'm Chavez Jr., I'm happy they let me go through that Jake Paul fight because I'm a millionaire. You're going to send me back to Mexico where it's cheap, and I'm a millionaire in America living better than 99% of the people. In Mexico, it's going to be even better. So thank you, ICE, for letting me go through with the Jake Paul fight.
Oh my God.
Because we know Jake pays. Jake, if you work with Jake Paul, he's paying all these women. I think a lot of the women in boxing are with him. He's getting folks paid. So at least Chavez
Yes, it
Jr.
is.
he got that Jake Paul paycheck before he got deported.
Oh, he was in the news. He was in the news in the Department of Homeland Security. It got him in the official said that he had an active arrest warrant in Mexico and involves with organization crime and trafficking for firearms, ammunition, and explosives. I was like, dang.
I'm like, why is he even involved in that? Because it's like you're never going to be hurting for
Cartel.
money.
He's
Yeah,
involved with the cartel.
that's crazy to me because I remember when he fought in El Paso, I think it was 2011, 2012, he was fighting Andy Lee, and they had set up like the DHS and City of El Paso had set up like snipers and stuff because they said it was a cartel risk. And I was just like, what's going on? They said he was married to somebody who was involved with a cartel or related to him. His wife was. And so I just thought I didn't think anything of it in 2012 when he had that fight in El Paso. And then I saw this thing where he was arrested. I'm like, damn, well, that's I guess it is true what they were saying. But like he had an arrest warrant going back to 2023 in May in Mexico, and they just I guess Biden and then Trump just let him do whatever. After
Damn.
they let him make millions because I think he fought Anderson Silva in 2023 too, so he made millions
Yeah.
off of the Anderson Silva fight. Then he made however much from Jake Paul, and then right after according to the arrest warrant, they went to his like mansion, his whatever he was living at in SoCal. He was on one of those RTVs, and they just arrested him. I'm like, well, hey, if I'm Chavez Jr., I'm like, thank you, because other countries wouldn't have let you get away with making tens of millions of dollars before you get deported.
God. My God. I'm wanted to talk about Lamont Roach too while you up here. I really think Lamont Roach is slipping since he had his draw versus Javante Davis, and I think that's probably why he hired somebody that is with Snack, is maybe he needs help getting down in weight. I see he's talking about welterweight and other weight classes a lot higher than the weight class he just fought in, which is 135, coming up from 130. He's been doing a lot of interviews and making a lot of appearances, and that's time that is draining out of his schedule and draining out of the day that he's supposed and should be training, while at the same time, Tank's quiet for real and not really doing no interviews or nothing, and he's just tweeting and stuff, which he says he only really tweets when he's in camp. So I could see him, and I already said, like, I was thinking Lamont Roach for fighting the way he did Javante Davis in the first fight because I needed him to wake up. He needed a wake up call, in my opinion. And I really think this is it. And I think he's going to be training harder to come in here and make a statement versus his old friend. I believe is his ex friend now. So I think this is going to be a better Javante Davis and maybe a little bit of a worse Lamont Roach because I don't think he's fully focused on the fight because he's been doing a lot of touring. A lot of people say that he's been partying, and you just been seeing him do a lot more interviews than you ever seen him do in his career. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's like I never seen somebody tour and take like moral victories over a draw. I mean, it was not a robbery. It was not a fight that you could say. I would have been fine with 7-5 either way or the draw. Lamont didn't engage for the first half of the fight, so you had to give Tank the first half of the fight just by that. I mean, you could talk about the referee's discretion about the hair grease, the knee, or whatever. I mean, he didn't violate the New York State Athletic Commission. So this guy's going on a victory tour over a draw. And I seen images of him. He was at the Washington Capitals, that's the hockey team there in Maryland, in their playoff game. He was chugging a beer. He was like chugging a beer. He's like, oh, I'm on a camera, like celebrating being at the Capitals playoff game, chugging a beer. So I don't think that he is 100% dialed in. He's looking past Gervonta Tank Davis because he said after the Tank fight, he wants the winner of Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney at 147. And again, that just proves these haters wrong because they were saying that Tank was bringing up somebody who's never fought at 135, which is a lie. He's got a lot of fights at 135, speaking of Roach. And Roach is physically bigger than him. And he's already looking forward to money fights, looking past Tank. So, yeah, 100%. I don't think he's dialed in. I think that it's kind of like even though the result was different, it's kind of like Buster Douglas after he upset Mike Tyson, where he got the $25 million and then he fought Holyfield, but he just let it go to his head and got knocked out, was really never heard from again. So with the Lamont Roach, I think that he is, taking a victory tour. He's not dialed in. Tank needed that fight because I didn't like, to be honest, and I'm a Tank fan, but I didn't like the way he was talking.
Yeah.
He was talking about retirement. He was talking about building businesses. And boxing is a sport where you need to be 100% dialed in. You can't be talking about going back to school and retiring from boxing, especially when you sign this. Allegedly, I haven't seen the paperwork, but from what I know, he signed a huge Amazon Prime deal. I mean, that was one of the reasons why Amazon Prime selected PBC, and ESPN is supposedly bringing PBC back. They said corporate media won't tell you that, but corporate media, ESPN got rid of Top Rank. They said you guys can leave earlier before your contract, and allegedly, because TNT lost the NBA, allegedly TNT is going to be working with PBC now, and ESPN is going to invite back the PBC. So the people who talked about Al Heyman's demise, you're once again foolish. This guy's a Harvard-educated guy. He's not dumb. So yeah, I definitely think Roach is looking ahead of that fight, and I think it's a mistake. And I think that Tank is dialed in. He doesn't need to be talking about retiring. He doesn't need to. I mean, just look at boxing. They let a man fight women. I don't know if you follow this Iman Khalif thing. The girl, the
Yeah, I've
from
seen that.
Libya, because
Yeah,
they let these woke people take over the Olympic boxing when the actual boxing people said that's a man. He should not be
yeah,
competing with women, and now they're calling to strip him, excuse me, of the gold medal. They did, and boxing is serious, man. I mean, it's all kind of craziness. This is a sport where you need to be 100% dialed in. So I'm glad Roach gave him that wake up call. Same thing I said about Wilder. When Wilder hired Malik Scott, I was like, that was a horrible choice because I was like, there's so many other better people he could go with, like Ronnie Shields. He could have gone with Stacey McKinley. He could have gone with Virgil Hunter. He could have gone with Robert Garcia, Bob Santos. But he hired his friend, who I felt like was a yes man for him. And I love Wilder. I've loved Wilder. And Malik Scott tried to reinvent the wheel with him, and he and Tyson Fury ruined him. But when Wilder started talking about talking to his ancestors and doing this ashwagandha shit, I was like, sorry, I shouldn't say that. The word, but he started talking about all this weird stuff. His killer instinct left. That's not what made Deontay Wilder. Not talking to your ancestors and doing this stuff in Costa Rica with the Aaron Rodgers, what he does with the drugs and stuff, and then we saw what happened after that. So you got to be 100% focused. You got to have that killer instinct in boxing because otherwise, we've seen the results with Wilder, and thankfully Tank didn't have the same fate as Wilder. But I think Tank is 100% dialed in. Roach got his 15 minutes of fame, and Tank's going to come back and handle business. He doesn't need to be like drama with a bunch of different camps. He needs to focus on which camp he's going to use and stay with them. No conflict between trainers. Choose the head trainer, choose the guys, and lock in and get this guy out of your way because we know, and Tank is in my top 3 pound for pound. We know this is an elite talent. But when you've got all these other distractions, I just don't think it's conducive. And we've seen it so many times before in the sport of boxing where you've got to be 100% dialed in. What do you think about all that?
yeah. I agree. I think he is acting like Andy Ruiz after he beat Anthony Joshua the first time. You remember Andy Ruiz just went out and gained like 25, 35 pounds and then fought Anthony Joshua the second time and lost. Like he ain't wasn't prepared for shit, even though he knew it was another fight coming. It's like kind of the same type of feeling. I could be very wrong. You know what I'm saying? Let me say hi to the people that came in here. Salute to you, Tay Tay. The real queen of MMA is in the building. Teach is in the building. Mike Biggs boxing. What is popping with you? TD Sports, I see you up in here. AD Solo, what is good with you, sir? Definitely appreciate you coming through. Planet 619, what is popping? What is Thomas Hill? What is good with you? Salute to you, KQ from KQKC Boxing Network is in the building. What is popping with you? Definitely appreciate you for coming through. But yeah, hold on, wait, we all caught up. We all caught up. We all caught up. We all caught up.
No, I remember the Ruiz thing. Ruiz got the money and he just clearly didn't care. Like he got
Yeah.
an endorsement from Snickers and Ellie, I really, the
That's what it
Haniacs.
was. He had an endorsement from Snickers. I didn't
He
even know
did.
that.
He did. Snickers got him endorsement because his deal was he was like, I'm going to eat a Snickers before, he was promoting Snickers basically. And then he beat
Yeah.
Joshua and Snickers was like, hey, we got a good endorsement for you. And he got an endorsement from Snickers. And
Oh
then,
my God.
Ellie Setback, who's a legend. I know the Haniacs in the channel. I know the Bud Buddies, the Z Side Bud Crawford fanboys hate Ellie Setback because he tells the truth, and the Haniacs hate him. But
I like
Ellie was following Andy Ruiz around, and Andy was throwing these parties. And I remember one of the parties, it has, those women you can eat food off of. I guess they're models or
yeah.
something. He
Yeah.
was and those that's super expensive, right? And so he was having a party, and Ellie was showing it where it was this new model, and people were just eating the food, like the high value food off of her. And he bought his mom a mansion, which hey, it's cool and all. Yeah, you take care of mom, but he was just going on this
He bought he
extravagant
bought he
shopping
bought a
spree.
big ass Rolls Royce. I remember that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Shit.
Andy was
Lucy the
just
Butcher, 704 Joe, Creole the Travel. What is good with you? He went on a little splurge and started eating. He went to buffets and
yep,
all types of shit. I was like,
yep,
and everybody seen it when he came back. We was like, yo, he's fat as hell. He was
yes.
already big, but like now you can't move around the ring, and that's the first time we seen Anthony Joshua act like he was like 160 pounds. He just moved around the ring constantly because Andy Ruiz couldn't keep up.
That and Eddie Hearns, people didn't catch this because corporate media didn't reveal it. Eddie Hearns had the fight in Saudi Arabia. He made the ring size much bigger than the first fight. So Andy was fatter. He was out of shape. He was not training. He was not listening to Manny Robles. And then they made the ring the size of a football field. So AJ was just pot shotting and running like Haney. AJ put on his Haney shoes and started pot
Yeah,
shotting. So Andy had no hope. He had everything going against
yeah.
him.
He was jabbing. He was
he
jabbing
was
the
he was
whole time.
jabbing and moving in that huge ring that they had because they knew that Andy wasn't 100%. They knew Andy wasn't focused, and so they had that huge ring. And AJ was like, "I'm just gonna pod shot my way." That's the first time I see AJ fight like that. But salute to him for getting past Andy the second time because Andy had all Andy had to do was win that fight. And see, he didn't think because if Andy had won that fight the second time and he had dialed in, it would have been a big money, undisputed fight with Deontay Wilder all on the PBC side. It would have
Yep.
been huge money.
Yeah,
All
he
he had
messed
to all he had to do because we knew AJ had a glass jaw. I mean, even before Andy took care of him, we saw in Klitschko, we saw D-Ball Dillian, the delusional druggy ducker, Dillian White. That's what I call him, D-Ball Dillian, the delusional druggy ducker. We saw him stun AJ. We knew AJ had a glass jaw. So Andy, all he had to do was get past him in the second fight. But again, sometimes people. What did Marvin Hagler say? It's hard to wake up at 5 a.m. in silk
up
pajamas and go
6 feet.
running.
Yeah, yeah.
But who knows with what Wilder made against Fury? It would have been even more if you had undisputed between Ruiz and Wilder all on the PBC side. They could have made a trilogy out of that alone, and there would have been no need for Fury, and AJ would have been completely irrelevant. But so I mean that's one thing I wish that Ruiz had done is take that fight seriously because we could have got some finality in the heavyweight division between those two, and it would have been huge for the PBC and sport of boxing to have Ruiz and Wilder.
Yeah, I think it would have been. I think it would have been good. I think Wilder would have been great in a lot of fights if they didn't keep it from him, for real.
Yep.
It would have been a lot of good main events, but they didn't want to see that.
No, they didn't. Corporate media and their stooges on the other side, the people who now you see Oscar and you see Aram, they're used to having corporate media on that side, but Turkey put a chair and kicked it from under them. So now they're complaining about the media because the media is not with Top Rank and it's not with Golden Boy anymore. So they got a problem. The first time they're experiencing hate from the media that they're so used to massaging and controlling. I think that's funny. Now they're talking about PBC and they're talking about Al Heyman and making alliances with Al Heyman, the same person that they sued and called him a threat to the boxing and a monopoly when they lied. And now they're talking. You notice that, Ashley? You notice that these guys?
It was just jealousy. They always wanted to do what he was doing. They didn't know how to do it, so they got jealous and sued him. Shit's crazy.
And now they're begging him because they don't control the media anymore. Oscar doesn't control it. Aram doesn't control it. Turkey controls corporate media. He's in control of it. And so now they're talking good and saying we're going to form an alliance with Heyman. So it's just funny to me. But yeah, you're right. Wilder was kept from things. I didn't understand the move that they didn't make to give Charles Martin whatever the hell he wanted, because allegedly Charles Martin got $8 million to fight Anthony Joshua, basically sell his belt.
Wow.
So why not? Why didn't the PBC come up with 10 million for Charles Martin to lose to Deontay Wilder, and then Wilder would have been unified, and then there would have been.
I think they wanted it to be. They wanted the heavyweight champion to be from London.
I think so.
That's what it was. That's what I really think.
I think so, but I mean, again, that may. And then I look back on that. The PBC allowed Charles Martin to go across the pond. It was around the time they were getting sued for being a monopoly. So maybe that was their way of saying, hey, look, we're not trying to monopolize things. We're not trying to keep things in-house. Charles Martin, you go and fight Eddie Hearn's fighter. You don't fight Wilder. I don't know what was behind that decision. That's the only logical thing I can think of, because to me, it made no sense not to match and even exceed whatever Prince Charles Martin is. I think that's his nickname, Prince Charles Martin.
Yeah.
I think that was in Deontay Wilder and Charles Martin would have been a fun fight. There would have been some trash talking. The buildup would have been fun, and it would have been, he's a southpaw, so it would have been giving Wilder some good looks, So they dropped the ball on that. Of course, we know that Povetkin was a drug cheat. Wilder said he was a drug cheat early on. And I don't know if you remember, people were saying, oh, no, Wilder's ducking Povetkin. Wilder's ducking. He don't want to fight Povetkin. He's called him a drug cheat based on what? It's like based on the fact that he's now a knockout artist. And before he was going to decision with people, he got outboxed by, what's his name? That cruiserweight. He got outboxed by a cruiserweight and got a gift decision. Now he's knocking everybody out. Then what happens? Wilder goes over to Moscow, and Povetkin's is confirmed to be a dope cheat. So Wilder was vindicated the whole time. And all these haters were saying Wilder was scared of Povetkin. They went into a hole in the wall because they didn't say anything when Wilder was proven right about Povetkin being a dope cheat.
Yeah.
And then Eddie Hearns, let's not forget Eddie Hearns. He put D-Ball Dillian, the delusional druggy ducker, in front of AJ. Well, all we wanted to see was Wilder versus AJ. And Eddie Hearns was doing all these gimmicks going around New York, asking people, do they know who Wilder is? I don't know if you remember that. And he was saying, mate, we can give you 2-3 times your payday by giving Wilder Dillian and build his name in the UK.
He was super annoying back then.
Yeah.
He was super annoying, especially when they was talking about the money that he was going to put in escrow at $50 million or whatever. And what was his name? Al Heyman was talking about it. And then Eddie Hearn was like, well, some guy in Alabama says he's got $50 million. I'm like, yo, why is he acting like Wilder's going to pay $50 million? Like, come on now. You know what it is, Eddie. Stop playing around.
He was demeaning Alabama.
Yes.
He was demeaning Alabama. He was like some guy in the state of Alabama. And I'm like, well, what do you have against Alabama? I mean, what does that have to do with anything?
And he knew what it was the whole time, man. Now, did you hear Shakur Stevenson? Shakur Stevenson said that he's training his hardest ever, basically. He's training his hardest ever for William Zepeda. He wanted him to know that. He said it during the press conference. And he said this. So I really want to know, because he says he always has something to say before his fights, like every fighter. So I really want to know, is this going to be a flawless victory for Shakur Stevenson? Because the way you talking, bruh, if this is the hardest you ever trained, and this is a guy, Zepeda, you keep talking like I gotta fight, and you know exactly what Zepeda's coming to do. He's gonna throw a bunch of punches. You saying all of this stuff, so you already know what it is. So, are you trying to tell us that this is going to be a flawless victory? Are you trying to tell us this is going to be the best you ever look? Because I've already said before he moved up to 135, I said the person that I would love to see him fight right when he get to 135 is William Zepeda, because he throws a lot of punches and because he is such a defensive wizard. I would love to see it, because it's either going to be one way or the other. I don't think it's no in between. It's either this is going to be a highlight reel fight for Shakur Stevenson, or it's going to look bad. And I think he knows that. That's why he said he's going to train and is training the hardest he's ever trained for any fight in his career. So what do you think this is like? I honestly think he's putting a lot on his shoulders and on his back by even saying that.
He always does this. Shakur's not very intelligent, in my opinion, and no disrespect to him, but he always overpromises and underdelivers, and he talks like he's Tank. He talks like he's better Biev. He talks like he's a prime Wilder who's going to go and knock out people, and then he puts up stinkers. To me, Zepeda is a fight, especially with a smaller ring. Shakur should, the way Zepeda looked against Tevin Farmer, Shakur should stop him by accumulation of punches. But he's overhyping the fight. Same thing he did with Artem Haratunian. He's disrespecting Frank Martin, who we know the games that Top Rank played with Frank Martin. We know the poison pill contract, the lowballing they did to Frank Martin. And you talk all that shit about Frank Martin, and Frank Martin damn near stopped Artem Haratunian. In the 12th round, Haratunian was. You remember he was on that bike? You remember
Yeah,
Frank had him on
he
that
took a
bike?
knee. He took
Yeah,
a knee.
he took his knee. One of his eyes was almost completely closed. They could have stopped that fight in the 12th round. And then Shakap Twitter said is talking all this stuff about Artem, and then he goes in there and he didn't put his foot on the gas, in my opinion. And
I went to that
so
fight when he fought Artem, Shakur versus Artem. I went to that fight, and I was asking myself, like, how come he's not throwing a punch? He took him it was 4 rounds of him not getting touched and just looking at him throw punch. I'm like, bro, throw something. Like,
throw
that's not
something.
the only I couldn't understand that. Like, it's not my opinion. And Shakur's problem isn't his defense. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, he's boring. And I don't think people say he's boring because of his defense. I think it's his whole style. And I think it's mostly his offense. It's because you don't throw enough punches or you don't do enough offensively. That's the part that I think people are saying is boring. I don't think it's his defense. His defense is sweet.
It's self-inflicted because he talks like a prime Mike Tyson. He tweets 30,000 tweets a day, and then he fights like you said, the way he does. He and really Haney too. The Haneys they have the exact same problem. They constantly overpromise and underdeliver. I don't know if you caught Sugar Shane Mosley. He was saying that Haney was out for blood. He was working with Devin and Bill, and he said he's going to destroy Ramirez. Did you see Sugar Shane Mosley? And then after the fight,
yes, I seen that interview. I played it on my live though. Yeah, I seen it.
And they didn't go with Sugar Shane Mosley's game plan. So these guys constantly, I don't know if they're jealous of Tank. I know they're jealous of Tank, but they talk like they're Tank, like they go into fights and they go for it. And you don't even have to, have power to stop people. Bernard Hopkins stopped people. Caleb Plant doesn't have the most power, and when he was in his prime, I think he's kind of out of his prime now, especially after the Benavidez fight. But he was stopping people. But Caleb wasn't going out there talking like crazy, like these guys are, like Haney and Shakur, promising things and then coming up with excuses afterwards. These guys' problems, those two are 100% self-inflicted because they talk so much and they don't deliver on what they say. And so to me, Zepeda's tailor-made, especially with a smaller ring for Shakur to get the stoppage. Will he take the risks that Tevin Farmer took against Zepeda? I hope he does.
You
He,
should.
he's got to take the risk that Tevin did to get the stoppage.
You
If
got
he's
to
just
show all the fans that you're better than Tevin versus
exactly,
the exact same opponent. And you're
exactly.
like you claim you got very good defense. All of us see it. We know it. You got very good defense. That's the same thing Tevin claimed, but he just went 24 rounds. So you got to look just as good or better. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, definitely. I want to talk about some fights, though. Let's talk about some fights. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. This is supposed to be in November. at 147 pounds. At 147 pounds welterweight in Riyadh. Okay, I see Devin, getting stops. It's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? That's literally how I feel. I know I see a lot of people saying that Brian Norman Jr. I'm watching this fight. That's why I'm kind of stuttering a little bit, but I'm watching Cordina fight. This is the beginning of the 6th round. He's looking pretty good. The guy, but the dude that's in front of him is very much in this fight. But Brian Norman Jr. People say that he's flat-footed. He really don't have good footwork. In my opinion, I really don't agree. I don't really see him use it that much because he likes coming forward and stuff like that. But have you seen him on jumping rope? In my opinion, if you jump rope and you can do all them tricks and styles, you can't be flat-footed. Like, in my opinion, you cannot be flat. People that's flat-footed can barely like jump up and down for real. You know what I'm saying? Like this, the footwork that I seen Brian Norman do jumping rope, the footwork that I seen him playing around, hitting a heavy bag when he was saying and laughing and joking and saying, "Oh, who don't have no footwork?" I remember seeing that. He did it on his IG. That man got footwork. I've seen him do more footwork and more dancing, playing around in the gym and on the ropes than I've ever seen Devin do. And I'm just being honest. Like, Devin uses footwork because that's part of his game plan. That's part of his style. Brian Norman says that he's the Lord of War or the God of War. He's not trying to move around the ring. That's not his game plan. So he don't use footwork. And when he do, it's to cut off the ring. And he knows how to do that. So versus Devin Haney, people are thinking that Devin is going to box Brian Norman ears off. I don't see that. Like, I really think that the same rule apply versus everybody else. This man like sparred Boots a bunch. Like, he kept coming back to spar Boots. You know what I'm saying? That's what's been said, and nobody said that it wasn't true. He came back more than one time to spar Boots. Boots got fast hands. Boots got a good jab and all that shit too. So it's not like Devin Haney's going to do something that Brian Norman Jr. hasn't seen before. And you talking about who has the better chin, who hits the hardest. Like, I don't know how many advantages like Devin actually has over Brian Norman Jr. besides hand speed. So I really think Brian Norman Jr. has a good chance in winning this fight, and I really do have him stopping Devin unless something crazy happens. What you think, Kamal?
And I like your last statement, unless something crazy happens, because it's going to be in Riyadh. We know that Devin is one of Turkey's favored. We saw what happened. People think the kid Austin ducked Shakur. I don't think so. I think he had some kind of food allergy or some kind of allergic reaction. I
Yeah.
haven't seen proof. People are saying that he ducked it. I haven't seen proof that he ducked Shakur because he wanted that fight.
Yeah.
And someone who has allergies, who's been in the ER because of peanut allergies and peanut exposure. To me, it looked like they couldn't reveal a lot. Maybe there was a non-disclosure clause. But if Brian Norman Jr. is 100%, I think this fight is going to look a lot like the Sean Porter Paulie Malignaggi fight. You remember that fight?
Sean
Porter.
Paulie? Yes.
Yeah.
Bulldozed Paulie Mountain.
Exactly. Paulie was talking all that shit about kind of like Devin.
Yeah.
Paulie said that Sean was a basic fighter, that he could jab and use his defense, and everything that Paulie tried to do was nullified. And Paulie had, I think, a fractured skull after that fight. He was literally
Damn, he fractured his skull.
He did, like kind of like Tim Bradley. He had some damage to him, like Tim Bradley against Ruslan Provodnikov, where he had a fractured skull. Like, and he got knocked out of the ring onto the judges' table finally to end that fight. I think it's going to look a lot like that. I think Haney's going to look like Tommy Hearns did Martin in that episode where he sent Martin to the bleachers. I think it's going to look like B-Hop getting, I think Haney's going to get Hopkins, like when Joe Smith Jr. retired B-Hop and knocked him out of the ring, and B-Hop tried to say, no, he pushed me.
Nah, yeah, he did push you. He pushed you with the tip of his glove like shit. I seen it. That shit hit you right in the head.
Yeah, I think it's going to look like a combination of those three fights. unless there's some funny business on it, unless somebody puts some prune juice in Brian Norman Jr.'s water or put some ankle weights on Brian Norman. I don't think he's flat-footed. I think that people overuse the term flat-footed.
Yeah,
Canelo's definitely flat-footed. Brian Norman Jr. is not flat-footed at
I don't
all.
think he is. I don't think he is at all. Like they need to sit and watch that man do something. Watch his, he don't use it during the fight because he don't want like that's not his style, in my opinion. That's what I think. I honestly think that.
He doesn't. He with the opponents that he fought recently, like you say, he doesn't need to do it. Jin Sasaki was not
Yeah,
somebody that you're going to need to use great footwork on. You just go and hunt, and you know Brian Norman Jr. doesn't get paid to work overtime. You know he has that attitude where I'm going to get somebody out of there. Santillan's the same way. So I think that with the background of this, people are congratulating the Haneys, and to a certain degree, I will say this. I think that congratulations is misplaced because I think for Devin to get the kind of money that he's demanding, they're not going to pay him to fight fights like he and Bill wanted, like Ivan Redcatch. I think they would. That's a fight possibly that they had wanted to take. He was going to have to fight somebody dangerous, so somebody that Turkey was going to pay for what he wanted. So somebody like a Blair Cobb, who Blair Cobb would have been very dangerous for him, but he didn't have the name behind him and the money wasn't as great. And he was going to have to fight somebody like Brian Norman Jr. He was going to have to fight somebody that we knew for the kind of money that he wanted was a challenge and had power. The Tio Fimo fight fell through because Tio has put up a bunch of stinkers, including against that Canadian plumber Steve Claggett. So Turkey was not going to pay Tio the money that he wanted for Haney, the same that he would pay for Boots, knowing that Boots is a completely different fighter and Boots was coming to knock him out and destroy him. So I think Haney was kind of pushed into a corner because not many people want to work with him due to his financial demands and the other drama that comes with him, and his own actions. And so I think that for the kind of money he wanted and the fact that they were trying to duck the Brian Norman Jr. fight, and to a certain degree, Brian Norman Sr. caps too, because he definitely capped about the Boots Ennis fight. But he exposed Bill and Devin for trying to get out of the fight. And so I think that they kind of were backed into the wall. They were backed into this fight with Ryan Garcia's injury, with the money demands. I think that I think he's going to get completely outclassed unless there's some kind of funny business.
yeah.
And I say that because there could be some funny business against Brian Norman Jr. I just don't see a way that Haney wins. He's going to try to pot shot. Did you see that Tim Bradley video? Tim
My God,
Bradley.
it's funny nowadays.
Tim Bradley broke down. He was like, Brian Norman, this is the easiest and cheapest sparring partners you're gonna get. You gotta go get some chickens. He was like, you gotta go get some chickens.
You gotta run around and get some chicken. Easy work. That's hell. That's facts though.
It's facts. It's facts. So Devin's gonna try. He's gonna try to hold like he's on a prom date, like he always does. He's gonna be huggy more than he's on a prime date. Brian needs to. I always said that Triple G was one of the most overrated athletes. And I say not just boxers, athletes since the turn of the century. But one thing Bum Lufkin was really good on is avoiding the clinch. People try to clinch him, and he knew Abel Sanchez taught him how to like punch to avoid the clinch. And so, if Brian Norman Jr. is good with that, he kind of studies what Bum Lufkin did with avoiding the clinch and then doing what he's doing. He wins by knockout, unless there's some funny business. I don't
I
see
was
any way
just
Haney
about to
wins.
say that when Jarrell Salute to you put that on in the chat that I don't know how much clinching Devin is going to want to do if Brian ripped them body shots. If Brian Norman Jr. ripped them body shots to the ribs and the liver, stir them up of him, and keep throwing them body shots to Devin, I don't know how much clinching he's going to do. But we all see, we all know, we've seen fighters get up off the clinch. What's his name? Earl Spence was good at that. Earl
Yep.
Spence was real good at shaking them. You got to shake them off like a big heavy metal blanket, like, and throw them shots. You know what I'm saying? But I really don't know. I don't think that Devin Haney can stand up to Brian Norman Jr.'s power. I really
He
don't
can't.
think so.
He couldn't stand up to Ryan Garcia's power. And Ryan Garcia is fast and he is powerful, but Brian Norman Jr. has a whole new level of power. And Haney has a glass jaw. I mean, we knew it before the Ryan Garcia fight. We knew an old man should have been in a nursing home. Jorge Linares had him on Queer Street. No, I shouldn't say that. Had him buckled really bad. We saw that. So Brian Norman Jr. is more athletic than Ryan Garcia. To me, he's as fast, if not a little bit faster than Ryan Garcia. And Haney got knocked down unofficially 6 times, and Harvey Dock saved him and only counted 3 of the knockdowns. Brian Norman Jr. is just—it's going to be like Sean Porter against Paulie. I mean, Haney has nothing for him, in my opinion.
I think Haney gonna be the favorite too, so I might
I'm
put
gonna,
some money on that fight.
yeah, I'm gonna have to put some money. If Devin is the betting favorite, I'm definitely gonna put some money on Brian Norman Jr.
Yeah, and just for the people listening that don't know, that's gonna hear it later. Devin Haney's record right now is 32-0. He got that O back, baby. He's 32-0 with 15 knockouts, and Brian Norman Jr. is 28-0 with 22 knockouts. If this fight really happens, and honestly, this is the last thing I really want to say before I move on to another fight. But I really think Devin. I really think that if this fight happened, I don't know, if somebody's making Devin take this fight or not, or if he really believes he's going to win. If so, all power to him and salute to him. But it hasn't been the first time that a fight has been scheduled with Devin and that didn't happen. So I really just hope the fight actually happens.
Yeah, he's got a Me Too case pending. So we never know. That could be similar to what happened with Rolly and Tank the first time with
Yeah,
his wife, or I don't know what the relationship is with that girl with that case. So it could not happen. And we've seen Turkey goes early in broadcast stuff and fights don't happen. Ring publishes stuff. So I mean, I could see it not happening for like you said. And so if it does go through, I just don't see any way Devin. He presents no challenges, in my opinion, to Brian
yeah,
Norman Jr.
yeah. Moving to my boy David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. David Benavidez right now is 30-0 with 24 knockouts, and Anthony Yarde is 27-3 with 24 knockouts, and he's been stopped twice. Remember, he fought Kovalad Crusher, and he fought Arthur Beterbiev. So shout out to Anthony Yarde for taking the hard fights, okay? Because those are 3 serious names right here. Like David Benavidez, that's 3 serious names right here. I think this is going to be an awesome fight. This is also in November, and yeah, I like David Benavidez. I think David Benavidez is the best fighter in the sport of boxing right now. As far as all around, in the ring, out the ring, as far as fan favorite, as far as fight everybody, everything. Like he's, he got most of the boxes checked, if not all. And I think this is going to be a good fight versus Anthony Yarde. I think Anthony Yarde don't have enough defense really to beat David Benavidez, regardless. Like I know I like Anthony Yarde. I always have. I made videos about Anthony Yarde early in his career, and I think it'll be a good fight. He is tough, and he is a good competitor. But I got David Benavidez for that, for real. Like, and I don't know if he can stop Anthony Yarde, but I definitely got David Benavidez winning. What you think, Kamal?
I got him winning too. I think he may stop him. Anthony Yarde, does he even have a corner? He's got that Nigerian guy Tunde or whatever his name is, but I don't even think he has a corner, like a trainer that talks to him in between rounds. It's kind of weird situation. Anthony Yarde takes tough fights. He's got the more experience at a high level, but it's kind of like I was watching another YouTuber and he was saying, when you've taken those fights and you haven't won, that puts a lot of damage on you. Beterbiev ages you. And then he had a war with Kovalev, and that took a lot out of him. I just think Benavidez kind of like, I like Anthony Yarde. He does take the tough fights. He puts himself in position to fight for championships. But I just think Benavidez is going to be too much. And I think that it's unfortunate that from what I see and what I know, I think Turkey was trying to hem David Benavidez up because David should have fought Callum Smith. And there were some shenanigans going on with Eddie Hearns and Callum Smith and not taking the Benavidez fight that was ordered to fight. So David would have been the WBA. He is the WBA mandatory. he is the WBC champion, and if he had beaten Callum Smith, he would have been the WBO champion. So they would have had to, or mandatory. Sorry, they would have had to see him. Benavidez win. Beterbiev Bivol winner would have had to see him. Period. Or they would have dropped two more belts. So I think that this fight it will be good. It will be fun while it lasts. But I just think, didn't Anthony Yard lose to Lyndon Arthur? Didn't he go like 1-1 with Lyndon
Yes.
Arthur? That
Yes.
again, Lyndon Arthur, not a guy who's going to go the distance with David Benavidez. And I think, salute to Anthony Yard. He has the heart, but I just think at this point he's gone through too many wars, and I think Benavidez is peaking. I agree with you. Benavidez is everything we should want in boxing. And if every boxer, I know people hate Jake Paul, but if every boxer and your favorite boxers operated the way Benavidez would, there would be no space for influencer boxers like KSI, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, because
Yeah.
boxing would be much better. But your favorite fighters are not acting like that. And you got people like Turkey maneuvering around, kneecapping David Benavidez, kind of forcing him to go over to Riyadh because he's pulling fights and opponents from him. Same games he's playing with Tank, where he's taking Tank's undercard fights and offering these guys huge sums of money to get Alberto Puello to fight Subriel Matias instead of the Gary Antoine Russell fight, the rematch with Puello for the unification. So I know what games are being played with David Benavidez, and David, unfortunately, he's in a position where he and Sampson they have to do this. It is a good fight. I do wish we had gotten the Callum Smith fight just for David's sake, and I think that Callum coming off that win over Joshua Buatsi, his peak is in a little bit better form. But hey, it'll be fun while it lasts. It'll be nonstop action.
Yeah, you made a good point with his corner though, with Anthony Yard's corner. That's probably the main issue. If he did have a good corner or a corner at all, he would have been like he wouldn't have lost that fight with London Offer. I remember he was headhunting the whole damn fight. Like, and he wasn't getting there. He kept loading up, throwing one shot. It was crazy. He just kept doing it. Wouldn't get out of his own head. If he fight like that versus David Benavidez, he probably will get stopped for real. But
Yeah, and another point to you is on that is he kind of reminds me of Samuel Peter. I don't know if you remember that excellent Nigerian heavyweight who had hella power, but he was just too muscular. Yard looks like a bodybuilder, and when you have all of that muscle on you in boxing, that extra oxygen can really slow you down. And so, if he does that headhunting against Benavidez and has that extra muscle, it could be fun for a while. But then he's going to fade against Benavidez if he comes in
yeah,
with the same kind of muscular stature that he usually did. And that's the same thing that happened to Samuel Peter. Samuel Peter was beating up the Klitschko. I think it was Vladimir, one of them, Vitaly or Vladimir. He had him hurt, knocked him down 2 or 3 times. And then he let Klitschko survive. And then in the later round, Samuel Peter had no gas. I think that's what's going to happen to Yard because all that muscle is going to be a deterrent when it comes to Benavidez. And he's going to get stopped in the later rounds, I believe.
yep. And David liked throwing body shots. Yeah, this is going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. Before this main event, this is the 10th round, which is the last round. This Cordina fight. Man, this is honestly was an all right fight. Cordina looked pretty good at 135. They probably give him the victory of this fight. He probably, I didn't sit here and watch the whole damn fight, but he probably did win this fight. But his opponent's still in there. He probably going to have to do better when he has a step of a fight at this weight class. But before the main event, let's talk about the Jack Catterall fight that's about to happen after this fight go off. He's fighting Harlem Eubank, which is 21-0 with 9 knockouts. This fight is at welterweight 147. Jack Catterall's record is 30-2 with 13 knockouts. Jack Catterall is a vet. I forgot how old he is. I think he's in like his late 30s or something like that. But Harlem Eubank, I haven't really seen a whole fight of his. I've seen some highlights. I've seen him work out a couple times. He's quick. It seemed like he got some okay pop, And this is probably going to be not a walk in the park for Jack Catterall at all. Catterall has like a chill style. You know what I'm saying? His defense is he uses the Philly shell, and honestly, to me, it don't look like he has good defense. But the fighters that he fight really don't be getting to him like that. His defense be working, you know what I'm saying? But I think Harlem is going to rush him in this fight, and I think he might get the stoppage over Jack. I got Harlem winning the fight, though. I don't know if he's going to stop him, but it's possible. What you think?
No, Harlem Eubank is an interesting guy. I haven't seen him fight, but his record is spotless. Obviously, son of a legend, brother of Chris. Um, Jack Catterall, I was really disappointed in his fight against Barbosa. And I have to say, Catterall, I feel bad for because he's a guy who should have been the undisputed 140-pound champion. He clearly beat Josh Taylor in that first fight. And then, he had to wait all that time for his mandatory. Then he got robbed in that fight. So I guess I'll lean towards Eubank because I didn't like his performance against Barbosa. And Barbosa proved that he's not all that. We thought he was going to be a good boxer. The way he fought Tio was a disappointment. So you got to go with the guy who's undefeated. This is a crossroads fight for Jack Catterall. Unless Jack Catterall puts everything together that he's been lacking the last couple fights, I got Harlem Eubank winning, just because Jack Catterall may have his foot out the door. And, he has a right to gripe because his career should have been different. He should have been undisputed, and that would have changed his trajectory. But I just don't think that his form in recent fights has been conducive to beating somebody with a record like Harlem Eubank.
Yeah, and for anybody that bets, Harlem Eubank is plus 250 or 290 if he wins at all. Just wins, no matter how he wins. If he wins, it's plus money on the books. And I did make that bet. I had to make just a little straight bet, just a little. But Netflix is having an all women's card that I'm really excited for. It's some nice names on that card. There's some nice fights on that card. There's one fight in particular that I've been waiting for a few years now. And I want to start there, which is with Savannah Marshall, which is 13-1 with 10 knockouts. She is fighting Shadeja Green, which is 15-1 with 11 knockouts. And this is a unification fight for Shadeja Green's WBO belt and Savannah Marshall's IBF belt. I think this is going to be a good fight, but it really is really going to determine. I mean, I'm waiting on the decision. That's why I'm looking. Yeah, Joe Cordina won the fight. They gave it to Joe Cordina. Okay, yeah, he won the fight, but Shadeja Green can't look like the same Shadeja Green she did when she fought
Cruz Dezern.
Yeah,
she disappointed me against Cruz Dezern.
It was a very disappointing look. But the thing is, Savannah Marshall last fight was, I believe, damn near 2 years ago. Little over 2 years ago. Shadeja Green fought 2 times last year. Okay, that's the only big difference in between them. But I like Savannah Marshall to win this fight. Savannah Marshall has the height and the reach advantage over Shadeja Green. I think Savannah Marshall can take a good shot. I think her defense is slick enough. I always compare her to her offense. She moves like Tyson Fury as far as her body and her legs and defensive style. And she throws punches and jabs like what's the heavyweight brother? Oh my gosh. What's the heavyweight that it was 2 brothers that was heavyweights, and Anthony Joshua fought one, and
Vladimir Vitaly Klitschko.
Yeah, she throw jabs and shit like Klitschko, in my opinion. She throws a lot of jabs, you know what I'm saying? But I think her offense, in my opinion, is a little awkward. She moves like Tyson Fury, in my opinion, and I don't know if Shadeja is going to be ready for that. And I believe this is I forgot where the fight is going to be, where they're fighting at. But I got Savannah Marshall. I have to go with Savannah Marshall to win the fight, even though I really like Shadeja Green. I don't know if she's going to be fast enough to keep up with Savannah Marshall. Not to say that Savannah Marshall is really, really fast or nothing, but I think because of her awkward style and her awkward movement and the way she throws her punches, I don't know if Shadeja Green's defense is going. She's going to be defensively aware enough the entire fight to win it. What do you think, Kamal?
I agree with everything you said. I thought that, coming up, I thought Shadeja was going to be another Ann Wolf, and then that she had that performance against Franchon Cruz Dezern, and she disappointed me as an indicator. And I think you got to favor Savannah Marshall. Shadeja's not the next Ann Wolf. I wish she were. I was just really disappointed in that performance against Franchon Cruz Dezern. And I just think Savannah is going to be too skilled for her. But you got to salute Jake Paul again, doing what he didn't drop Shadeja Green after she lost. Jake Paul doesn't drop fighters, and he's putting together this all female card, getting these girls paid, getting these girls opportunities that even Lou DiBella, who handled Serrano for a while, wasn't giving them. So salute to Jake Paul and Netflix for putting this together. I hope that Shadeja can find it in her to win, but you got to favor Savannah just for, like you said, skills, reach, jab. And Shadeja's not as monstrous as I thought she was. I don't know if you ever thought she was going to be the next Ann Wolf, but it seemed like that, and then she's not that.
Yeah, yeah. I had high hopes for her because she was looking good. She was knocking people around, knocking them down. But that fight with Cruz, and they had a backstory and all the stuff that was said. I really thought she was going to put out a better showing. It wasn't that she lost at all. It was the way she lost versus her that was disappointing. But it's always room for a comeback, and versus somebody like Savannah Marshall is going to be an uphill battle, in my opinion. But also on that card, Alicia Bumgarner is now what's her right? She's 15-1 with 7 knockouts, and she's fighting a Jennifer Miranda. She's 12-0 with 1 KO. I think that's the issue here. The girl's tall. She's tall, but when she throws punches, she's hella exposed. Like she throws kind of wide punches. She has no replacement when she throws a punch, meaning her other hand is nowhere near her face. You understand? She's guarding absolutely nothing when she throws punches. That's what I noticed about Jennifer. Besides the fact that she has um, 1 knockout out of 12 fights. So hopefully she'll go in here and defend her title. Bumgarner will go in here and defend her titles or her undisputed titles, and she move up. Like, isn't that what she's been talking about this entire time? She's been talking about moving up. This is, I believe, her 4th or 5th unification defense. Like, I really would like to see her move up and get to these other people that's in the weight class, because I know one talent that's waiting for her that already said that she wants to fight her if she's coming up to her weight class that's hers, and she want all the belts. And that is Carolina Dubois. I'm a big fan of her already. I really like Carolina Dubois, and her versus Alicia Bumgarner is one for the books. What do you think about her versus her opponent, Jennifer Miranda, that she's going to have on July 11th on a Netflix card?
I don't know much about her opponent. Alicia Bumgarner's first fight with Jake Paul and MVP Promotions. She left Eddie Hearn and signed with them. Another great move. And then, Jake, you may hate Jake. I hear a lot of hate for Jake, but he's getting these women paid.
Nah,
Uh,
I don't hate him.
he's giving them opportunities. So, and especially African American women. So, I mean, you can't complain about Jake. To me, you can't complain about him, what he's doing
Yeah.
for women's boxing and boxing in general. I got to favor Baumgartner. I would love to see her get up. I really like Carolina Dubois. I like Baumgartner. I like Fundora's sister. She's a beast too.
Yeah.
Um, great fighters. And you know what? I don't know what the deal is with Clarissa Shields hating on Bumgartner and hating on Serrano and Jake Paul. I don't know what the animosity there is. No need to hate. You could sign with Jake Paul and get more money so you don't have to do the MMA. Jake
Yeah.
is getting these women paid so they don't have to cross train with the MMA. He just got Holly Holmes. He signed Holly Holmes. She had a great performance coming back. So, yeah, I would like to see Alicia move up. Alicia is, a very good fighter. So look forward to her winning. And one knockout by her opponent. Alicia's gonna make mincemeat of this girl, and Alicia's gonna do her thing. And she's getting paid what she deserves finally. And so just like Shadeja's getting paid, and all these Amanda Real Deal Serrano's getting paid. So good for Alicia. Good to see her join the ranks and get the paycheck she deserves.
You heard Carissa Shields said that she not doing MMA no more, right? She said it's too hard. I laughed my ass off when she said that shit.
It's too hard. Didn't she fight no hopers in MMA, like people that were tailor made for someone like her? Coming
Yeah,
from boxing.
and she still lost. But yeah, because MMA is a full body contact sport. It's not something you can really pick up like that. You can see people pick up boxing at 18 and it's frowned upon. People like, you don't have an amateur background. They talk about stuff like that. But you're fighting with your hands. You got to move your body a certain way. You got to learn a lot in boxing. That's why they say you should start when you're younger. But shit, you can throw your elbows, your fists, your knees, your feet. It's so much shit that you gotta grapple. You gotta learn how to, you gotta learn all the dirty tricks that people do. You gotta learn the ground game. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to learn. I knew she was over her head, especially if she want to gain weight. You can gain weight in box, but if you want to gain weight and still be an MMA fighter, you about to get fucked up. Real talk.
And women shouldn't have to do that. With female boxers shouldn't have to do. I know Ebony Bridges, Australian. She was doing the OnlyFans, and she was making more from OnlyFans than she was boxing. And Clarissa shouldn't have to go into MMA because that's not her lane, But because of the pay, that a lot of women are having to do that. So it's great that again, another great thing about Jake is that he's getting these women, and they don't have to dabble in OnlyFans or anything like that or MMA. He's getting them the money they need to fight and focus solely on boxing. So it's great to see. And if Clarissa made that commitment, that's good. I think she holds belts in many different weight classes. She's gone all the way up to heavyweight and won a title there. So I think she was talking about fighting Alicia Baumgartner. They were going back and forth. I think there was some jealousy definitely on Carissa's part
Oh
against
yeah.
Alicia. She's very jealous, I think, of people that
It's
Clarissa is.
She show it. She show it, and she said like when you have an argument with somebody and talk about they the shade of their skin is
Yep.
ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And you just immediately just talk about light skinned women. It's crazy.
Yep.
She had an argument with two totally different men and brung up the fact that they probably only like light skinned women. Like, come on, yo. That's it. Even if that's really what you feel in your heart, being who you are and you're in the public eye and you typing that shit, you shouldn't have said it. You
She's
shouldn't have wrote.
insecure.
You shouldn't
She's
have said that
insecure.
shit at all. Salute to you, slogan one. Jarrell, honestly, a lot of people don't know, but Amanda Serrano fought in the MMA, and she did very well in the MMA. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? And you got Kylie, the Holmes girl,
Holly Holm.
Holly Holmes. She did MMA, and she did very good at
She
like.
destroyed Ronda Rousey.
To be honest, Carissa Shields did the worst in MMA in transition when it comes to a boxer. Am I wrong about that, Kamaz?
From what I know, I have to defer to you. You know more than I do about that. But from what yeah, Holly Holm burst that hype bubble that Ronda Rousey had when she was saying
Yeah,
that she was going to beat up Floyd. Remember that craziness? And so Amanda Serrano, Real Deal Serrano, she did well in MMA. But again,
nice.
Clarissa, I think she's a good talent, but she's very insecure. She's jealous. I remember Serena Williams won an ESPY as the best female athlete of all time. Or not of all time, of that year. I think it was 2022, 2021.
Yeah,
Serena literally won Wimbledon when she was 6 weeks pregnant, y'all.
yeah.
6 weeks pregnant, Serena won Wimbledon.
She
And
did.
we can talk about boxing all we want, but boxing, you have people with losing records getting titles in female boxing. You have people that come off of losses routinely and they're the mandatory for a fight. So the depth, no disrespect to female boxing, in women's tennis, where Serena and Venus were raised by Richard, dodging bullets in Compton. They didn't have this rich man sport of tennis background where they were going to these summer camps and professional coaches. And for you to get jealous that Serena Williams, who's the best female athlete in my lifetime and probably of all time, gets an ESPY over you, That's the
Yeah.
height of insecurity. And this light skin stuff, that was totally stupid. When she was saying she could beat up Keith Thurman, I think she had a thing for Keith Thurman, saying that she was gonna knock him out and fight him and all that stuff. She's ridiculous. She's a good competitor in the ring, but her moves outside of the ring, what she does, I don't respect it at all. I think she's big time jealous of Serrano. I think she's jealous of Baumgartner, and I know that she was jealous of the quote Serena Williams, because nobody can diss Serena Williams. Serena Williams is an icon. She's beyond a legend.
Mm-mm-mm. Um, she's. It's a lot of things that I don't understand why she even commented on, but hey, I'm not gonna judge her. Not today. That's is she do what she do. Now, but let's talk about that main event though. Let's talk about that main event. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. This is the third fight. Katie Taylor is 24-1 with 6 knockouts, and Amanda Serrano is 47-3-1 with 31 KOs. Man, Amanda Serrano over 50 fights, girl. Oh my gosh, yo, that's a lot of work right there. That is a lot of work. I don't know when Amanda Serrano is gonna plan on hanging it up, but I appreciate the work. I appreciate all of her fights. She's been entertaining to me. All of her knockouts, even the way she fights with her determination. I think Katie Taylor is a ram. I think she uses her head a lot. Like really. Like I think it's more than her body language when she's tired and her falling forward. It's more than that. I think she really uses her head and does that shit on purpose sometimes. Like seriously. I can't respect that part of her game. I can respect her the talent that I do see that she has when she isn't fighting like that. But shout out to Amanda Serrano, yo. This is the third time fighting this girl. In my opinion, she already beat her. Hopefully, it won't be a lot of headbutts in this fight. Hopefully, she won't get cut. Amanda Serrano won't get cut in this fight, and hopefully, she'll come out the victor this time.
I agree. And she's won the previous 2 fights, and not just one. She was robbed twice. So if we're going on precedent, she's going to get robbed a third time. Katie Taylor is another one of these corporate media hype jobs that they have told us was better than she actually is. Like Bum Lovkin, she had lost to Delphine Pursoon twice, and they gave her the victory. Those were robberies. Serrano beat her butt 2 times before. And Serrano even said, I don't even want to do 2-minute rounds. I don't know if you remember this actually. Amanda said, let's do 3-minute rounds. Who turned that down? Katie
I
Taylor.
remember that. I remember because Katie be gassed with 2-minute
Yep.
rounds. You know, she would have got stopped in 6.
Yep. And you could see in the previous fight, she was gasping for air. She's a cheater. She frequently headbutts people. She fights dirty. They need to drug test her. Have you seen? I call her Katie Roughneck Taylor. She's got a neck like a linebacker. Is she being drug tested? Or is she on those Anthony Joshua therapeutic use
Oh
exemptions?
my God, come on. The first time I seen her neck, I think I was live on the liquor spot at the time. It was my channel. I was live on that shit. And when I seen her neck, I could not believe it on her ring walk. I was like, yo, I've never seen her neck before. I did not know it was that wide. I made so many jokes on her neck. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Her neck is compared to everybody else's neck. Her shit is ridiculous, yo. Her joint is like a little bit wide. When it get to her shoulders, it's wider than her ears. Unreal how wide her neck is. Unreal.
She looks like an NFL. She has a neck like an NFL linebacker, like Bill Romanowski or somebody like that, like juiced up.
Raiders.
Yeah, she's a cheater. Like you're right. She's a ram. She headbutts. The referee in the last fight should have taken more than 1 point from her. She's a cheater. And I'm glad that Serrano called her out on it. She fights like that. She's not as good as corporate media hypes her up to be. She has multiple losses, kind of like Canelo, where Canelo has multiple losses, but the judges fill out the cards beforehand. Katie Taylor's like that. And it's a shame that Serrano doesn't get more support. Like she's the hometown fighter when they fight in America. I don't give a damn that there's so many Irish people here, or Irish descendants, not even from Ireland, really, just that their ancestors were. Serrano is the hometown fighter. Give this queen the respect that she deserves. She made history as the first seven-time champion in seven different weight classes, and Katie is not what you make her out to be. Corporate media, she's not. And the
No,
ref, they need to get a strong ref to stop her headbutting and her cheating tactics.
yeah, that shit is terrible. It's starting to look kind of obvious now. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody that tired and lean forward the whole damn fight. Like, come on, man, shit is ridiculous. And always catching her in the same spot of her forehead is crazy. I mean, of her face is crazy.
And you hear her when she's tired, she's like, I don't know what you're thinking. And she's tired halfway
her
through.
voice, her voice kills me. Her voice kills me. Oh my gosh, man.
I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing, laddie. I don't know. Gasping for air halfway through the
Katie
fight.
sound like the original from the Hobbits, like shit, yo. No bullshit. Like she was born on the Shire. She is crazy as hell. Voice
It is.
wild.
And
Wow.
it is crazy. And so, hopefully we get an impartial judge this time. Hopefully people do their freaking job and judge the fight fairly, and give Amanda the victory that we know she's going to get, and they don't rob her a third time. They say the third time is the charm. Hopefully, Amanda can pull a Marquez against Pacquiao. You remember how Juan Marquez ended that rivalry
Oh yeah.
substantively?
Yeah.
Hopefully that can happen so it doesn't
Down.
go to the Georgia judges scorecards.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully this is, and hopefully this is the last time they have to fight, and they give Katie her victory, man. Hopefully she earns it though. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they don't just give it to her, but she earns it. But moving on to this July 12th, in New York on the zone, Shakur versus Zepeda. Shakur is 23 and 0, 11 knockouts. Zepeda's 33 and 0, 27 knockouts. This right here, we already spoke about earlier. I can get your 2 cents on it though. Kamal Eyes. I'll just say that, well, both of us talked about this, but I'll just say that I think Shakur Stevenson, this should be his coming back out party. He's been demoted. He was a headline fighter for years. Okay, he was fighting his hometown. Now he's fighting on undercards, and in his opinion, they got youngins fighting him like Kid Austin. He was disrespected by that. Um, so this is like his coming back out party, and if he go in here and dust off Zepeda and show that he is a defensive wizard and show that he does have enough offense to drop, stop, or just beat William Zepeda in a flawless victory, in that type of fashion, maybe he'll get back on the top of the cards, but I think this is a fight that William Zepeda should have studied Shakur on. I think this is a fight that William Zepeda shouldn't just go in there and throw balls to the wall and just throw punches like he usually do. I think they should have a game plan versus Shakur Stevenson. I think the game plan should just be to touch Shakur Stevenson and not really to throw a lot of power shots. I think in the first 4 rounds of the fight, that is when Shakur Stevenson is trying to study you and make sure he got your movements down so he won't get hit with nothing hard. So I would save my best shit for last and make sure you have some tricks up your sleeve for later on in the fight for those later rounds, so you can make it a nice looking fight. As far as Turkey Al Sheik goes, he was saying that it will be devastating for William Zepeda to stop Shakur Stevenson, and said the same thing about Edgar Berlanga. It will be devastating for Edgar to stop Shiraz because he has plans for them now. I've once said, and I made a video about this fight, and I said that I'll look at this differently now that Turkey said that, and now that um, Tevin went, Tevin Farmer went 24 rounds with him, and then just got stopped by Kid Austin that fast. I look at this fight differently. You know what I'm saying? I will still give credit. I never said anything about credit, but I will still give credit to Shakur Stevenson if he wins this fight, of course. But I'm not looking at it the same. Like, it was a fight that I would bet on, but not anymore because Turkey out of Sheik got his little evil ass hit shape up in this whole shit. So I don't even know exactly how this fight is going to look on the scorecards, but hopefully both of these fighters come in this fight prepared for the fighter that's in the ring with them and nobody else. I just want to see a clean, good fight. I don't have no dog in this race, but I want to be entertained. I know that much. What do you think, Kamal?
Yeah, I agree with you. This needs to be Stevenson's coming out party. If he puts up another performance like he did against Nakathelia and says, "Hey, I'm not going to lose to an African cop. I'm not going to lose to a cop," and he starts getting on his bicycle and start doing the cool runnings, like he's auditioning for the Jamaican bobsled team. He puts in another performance like that after all the trash he's talking, demanding Tank Davis. Really, there is no demand for the fight because Shakur is a Thursday night fighter. Thursday night Shakur is not fighting just on undercards. He's fighting an undercard of undercards, trying to take credit for the better be a Bevel rematch numbers. He cannot put up another lame performance. Zepeda is tailor made for him to stop him and him to look good. This is not a fight to go safety first and go 12 rounds. This is a fight. You're saying you want Tank. You're saying it's a big fight in boxing. This is a fight to show the public, to increase the demand for that fight, which right now there's no demand because folks in your own hometown are walking out of your fights and booing you. And you're fighting on Thursday nights when people, you don't even make it to Friday nights for TGIF. So this is the kind of fight that he needs to put up an elite performance. A lot of eyeballs are on this fight. We saw that you were fine with fighting these UK domestic level people like Padley and Cordina, but then when guys who had power and pop wanted to fight you, like a Scooby, like Tito Ortiz, and then like that Cuban guy who was based over in Dubai, you didn't want to fight the guys with power. So there's this stigma that you have, that you are afraid of guys with power, and you fight guys with power very afraid, very scared. So Zepeda doesn't have the overwhelming power. He does have a lot of punch output. But as we've seen with great fighters like Floyd Mayweather, and I don't consider Shakur a great fighter. He hasn't had the fights to tell me against the opponents that he's a great fighter. He's had a bunch of tailor-made opponents. But Zepeda is the kind of guy that if Floyd were fighting him, this would be a fight for a true defensive wizard where Zepeda's punch output would go way down and Floyd would actually outpunch Zepeda and have a stoppage for him. So based on what Shakur's talking and tweeting and texting and going on these shows, saying that he's going to do, saying this and that, he should stop Zepeda, because if we're looking at Floyd and you're saying you're the best, Shakur says he's better a defensive fighter than Pernell Whitaker, rest in peace. That's blasphemy to me, because Pernell wasn't just on a bike, like or trying to audition for the Ethiopian Olympic marathon team or the Kenyan Boston Marathon runners. Floyd and Pernell would make you pay when you missed. So this is a kind of fight where if you're really where what you say you are, Zepeda's output goes way down, your output goes up, and you get a stoppage via the corner throwing in the towel that they can't take anymore. With all that you're talking, with all the checks you're writing in the media, with all that you're talking about other people, talking trash about Kid Austin after he knocks out Tevin Farmer in one round, this is your time to step up. This is your time to prove to Turkey, prove to the world that the only fight to make at 135, since you're fake friends with Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis, now moved up to 140, is you versus Tank. And anything other than what I said would be another disappointment. And I don't want to hear from the Shakur stands and the whatever this gang that him and Crawford and Keyshawn call themselves. I don't want to hear for any other crap from these guys because if Shakur goes in there and doesn't perform like he says he's going to do, he himself sets the standard that he says he's going to do, then it's just another in a long line of disappointment pointy fights.
Yeah. I have to admit, I've been saying this about all fighters, not just Shakur. I say it about everybody. I want to see every single fighter fight somebody that mirrors themselves, and if not, fight somebody that's their height with their reach and similar to their skill that don't have slow feet and slow hands and no power. You know what I mean? Fight somebody that is actually close to your skill level or have some power or some hand speed. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop fighting these people that you have major advantages over, or the disadvantage that they have. Absolutely you're gonna outpoint them or outskill them or just tend to them the whole fight. Like we don't. I'm tired of saying that stuff. I've always been tired of saying it. It's as Of course you got to fill in the gaps. Of course you can't fight a killer all the time. So I'm all right with these people fighting any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, I'm gonna have to see where your skill level is, and I can't do that unless you fight somebody that's mirroring yourself. I'm not gonna see where your skill level is fighting somebody that I know that's tailor made for you, and that's what a lot of fighters do. And people don't like when I say that because they know the one person that already has done that is Tank. He's fought people bigger than him all the time. He's always been in a disadvantage. At least two things he's always had a disadvantage about. These fighters hasn't, like Shakur hasn't had two things that he's had a disadvantage of for another fighter. He's always had the most advantages. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Tevin. It's just it goes on and on with that shit. It's tiring to watch too. Salute to you, Slogan One. I see you in the super chat. Definitely appreciate you, the super sticker.
This is for the cool.
100%. Devin and Shakur, they had manufactured opponents. And that's why they came up. They had guys like Oscar Valdez. Don't give me that. That guy was a top rank hype job and he's a drug cheat. These guys have had fights against older guys, smaller guys, guys who are tailor made for them. Tank has not. So when people try to diss Tank's resume, well, no one's trying to fight George Jetson. What's his name? Joet Gonzalez. Nobody's trying to fight those guys. They're trying to fight Tank's leftovers. They're not trying to fight Devin's leftovers. I mean, Kambosos keeps getting title shots. I don't know why, but he fought Loma for a title shot. Really, these guys compare their resume to Tank. Tank's is 100 times better. But Devin and Shakur came on the up, fighting guys smaller. Devin really made a joke of next day weigh-ins. Devin would come in being a light heavyweight at 135. I don't know how he came up weighing. I mean, even the California State Athletic Commission didn't like how he rehydrated against Regis Prograis. So Devin has been gaming the system for a while, and Shakur definitely with that top-ranked matchmaking has been in nothing but 80-20, 90-10 fights for the most part. So Zepeda, in that respect, Zepeda is a bigger challenge. But again, none of these guys, neither of those guys have done what Tank has done in terms of the level of competition. And the proof is in the pudding because Tank's opponents are winning titles and winning 50-50 fights after Tank fights them. Shakur and Devin's opponents are not.
Yeah, that's a big point. Yeah, pretty much. What do you know about David Morrell's opponent? David Morrell is 11-1 and 9 knockouts. His opponent name is Ahmed Katav. Can't even pronounce that. He's 10-0 with 9 knockouts. Do you know who David Morrell is fighting? Come on, Eyes.
He's one of those guys from Chechnya, southern Russia, basically, that in the MMA and boxing who are knockout artists. But he little's known about him other than that. But from what I heard, he's got visa issues, so that fight could be scrapped unless he got his visa, or Morrell could be pulled from the card to find a replacement. From what I heard, George Kambosos, ironic that I just brought him up, his father is Katayev's manager, and they were saying that he may not get into the country. So Morrell could be scrapped, or they could get another opponent for him. But on paper, he's a knockout artist.
Damn, they need to give him another another opponent. Salute to you, Aunt McQueen. Definitely appreciate you for hitting that
Salute,
link.
salute.
It's good with you, sir. Definitely appreciate you. It's good.
Katayev can fight, man. I really like him.
Tired. There it is. That's how you say his name.
Yeah, Mom Katayev. I really like him. He can fight. He can fight. I
This is
actually,
at 175.
yeah, 175. Actually, I think he's a little bit more well-rounded than David Morrell is
Okay,
from
okay.
a technical and fundamental standpoint. So it's a very dangerous fight. My good brother up here, he is on the money as far as his reputation of being a knockout artist. He's won every fight except for one, which was his last one versus dude
Yeah.
Palacio by knockout. So he's like 11-0, 10 knockouts.
Yeah.
And you know how those guys are, where they've got that solid amateur background. They generally fast track them, have them fighting in 10 rounders by like their second and third fight.
Is he a southpaw?
He's orthodox.
Oh, shit. Is he like a fight behind a jab type person, or what does he do?
Yeah, he works his jab. He's pretty consistent with it. And then I like the way that he uses his jab, the variation of it. It's like he can, shoot a regular jab, shotgun jab. He works the stab jab pretty well. He'll also like jab at the guard just to occupy the guard and fire the jab straight down the middle. So he'll change the location of the jab. He's just really
Oh,
good, just fundamentally sound. I would say the biggest concern that I have for him in this fight, and it's actually a concern that I got for Morrell as well, is possible stamina issues because he's a very muscular guy. Like if you see him, his back is broad as hell. He's built like a bulldog or something like that.
damn. I didn't see him.
Wide back, broad shoulders. You know what I mean? Like very muscular.
Oh,
Just a
the
dense
Cairo
guy.
fight just started. It's a minute into it. It's 2 minutes into. Well, it's 1 minute into the first round. And what do you think about the this fight with Catterall and Harlem Eubank? Ooh, nice one too. Oh,
Should be a solid fight. I was actually watching Harlem Eubank last night. I think he's got a nice jab, but one thing I did notice about him is he tends to leave his head on the line, chin up in the air. So Catterall, there's a chance that he could probably catch him with something and hurt him. Because Catterall is pretty sneaky sometimes with that straight left, especially on the counters. And he's really, really, really good at the point of attack too. Like when you stepping in the range, like the moment your feet align, he's firing something. So Harlem Eubank, he's got to be on point. He's got to be on point. He could be pretty scrappy. He's got a decent inside game. I think probably a little bit more than Catterall, but I think Catterall will probably be able to just pick him off and keep him from getting into that position for the most part.
yeah, it looked like that's what just happened. Like Eubank is fat. Ooh, but he coming in with that left hook and banging Eubank and getting out the way, or he banging them and tying them up real quick. It looked like it's already kind of frustrating him. It's still the first round. But Eubank is fast, but he needs to settle down and wait for his shot. And
Yeah,
actually,
Eubank is pretty jittery. He give me like them Shane
yeah,
Mosley vibes.
settle
Like he's
down.
jittery.
He should try to counter. He should try to counter because what he doing ain't working. Even though he's fast and all of that, what he doing ain't working. Now that you up here, yo, before we get to my last fight, what do you think about the fights we already talked about? The Savannah Marshall versus Shadeja Green at McQueen. That's the end of the first.
Savannah Marshall, Shadeja Green.
Yeah,
I think Shadeja's gonna get outworked because the one thing about Shadeja, she got good power. She's a good counter puncher, but I feel like she's a little bit too reliant on her counter punching at times. Seems like
mm,
she struggles to be first, and I felt like it was really on display versus the hard hitting diva.
yeah.
And we know Franchon Cruz discern she's not necessarily the most technical fighter, but she works and she's scrappy. And she was just getting outworked. And that's it. That's what I fear most for Shadeja Green versus Savannah Marshall. I think that she's got the power to hurt her with something if she catches her. But the thing is, Savannah with that herky jerky movement, I think she may be able to do a good job of keeping Shadeja like off her trail, so to speak, and
Yeah.
just keeping her off rhythm and keeping her off balance.
Do you think that Brian Norman Jr. is flat footed? How you think he's gonna do versus Devin Haney?
Yeah, I think he's pretty flat footed, but to me, flat footed doesn't necessarily mean slow footed either, because he's still pretty athletic. Like I look at flat footed and like being up on the balls of your feet, it's more so of a preference thing. That's really what it boils down to me. It's more of a preference thing. Like if you want to be up on the balls of your feet, it's generally for more mobility, things of that sort. And then being flat footed is more so to drive power because your power comes up through your leg, that kinetic chain from your feet through your legs, through the torso, through the you know what I mean, just like through your core, through your arms. So I don't think that being flat footed is necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just more of a stylistic choice. But he definitely has some pretty quick feet, though. I'll say that. He's not slow.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
He's
think he has slow feet, and I think it's his style. I think that's what he chooses to do, and he don't have to move around the ring, so he don't. He just don't do it. What do you think is gonna happen in the fight though with him and Devin? Damn, yo, the 1-2 is getting in for Catterall.
Yeah, what's the name? His jab defense is pretty suspect. I said Chris Eubank. Harlem Eubank. His jab defense is pretty suspect. Because, like I said, he don't really move his head off the line.
Mm-hmm.
And more often than not, when he got his hands up, he don't really pick shots. He don't really pick jabs off with his backhand. He's just kind of just there. Like he's one of them guys where I think like his legs, like he's agile, he's mobile, but his defense isn't necessarily multifaceted. It's just him just using his legs. So occasionally he might get his head off the line, or occasionally he might pick a jab off. But for the most part, like when he's pulling straight out, head is still on the center line. He's moving to his left, moving to his right. His head is still on the center line. And
He needs to stop.
Catterall, they're pretty sharp down the pike. So that's not the guy you want to be on the line for.
He need to stop head hunting. Sheesh. And he need to keep his hands up. For real.
I
He's
want to see
skipping
what
around.
Dev does though versus Brian Norman Jr. Like my thing is like, how does he generate the offense?
Yeah. I've been asking the same question to myself. Like, I don't know why people are saying that he's going box circles around Brian Norman Jr. He's flat footed. I'm like, yo, I don't see that flat footed stuff like y'all see. I don't see that. Like, I seen him do a lot of footwork before when he was training. Like, he just don't do it when he fighting because it's just not what he do. You know what I'm saying? Like, Devin, his game plan is to move around the ring. And I've seen fighters with way better footwork than him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think his footwork is all of that. I really don't. It's good enough for the.
No, neither do I. Neither do I.
I'm saying,
I'll say
yeah,
this though. I think that Dev has fast feet, but fast feet don't necessarily mean that you have great feet.
yeah.
And then the other part of it is this: is like, what good is your footwork if you're so far out of range that you can't work yourself?
Last
And
fight,
that's where I'm trying to reconcile this in my mind. Like, how does he generate the offense? I'm hearing people say, "Oh, he gonna do him like he did Regis Prograis." But yeah, Regis Prograis was damn near at a 5-inch deficit in reach.
yeah,
Brian Norman Jr. actually has the reach advantage in this matchup.
he has reached advantage.
Yeah.
I thought it was the same. Oh,
Mm-mm. He's got him by like 1 inch. Dev is 71. Brian Norman Jr. 72.
too. Okay.
So it's not a significant reach advantage, but in the fight that we seen with Ryan, when he extended, he shot his jab. Ryan timed him on the jab and threw the left hook. Fired it
Yeah.
at the same time. So that would be the key right there for Brian Norman Jr. It's like getting the read on his jab. You get the timing on his jab, then punch with him.
Oh, they just got tangled up, and he he like body slammed him just now. I don't even know what you call that. Ref talking to both of them now. And he like tilt a world slammed him just now. It was crazy. Did y'all see that in the chat? That shit was crazy just now. But okay. Alberto Polo versus Subaru Matias. Matias' record is 22-2 with 22 knockouts. All knockouts for your boy Matias. And Alberto Polo is 24-0 with 10 knockouts. I think if Matias isn't focused in this fight, it can be a little bit worse than when he lost in his home country, in his hometown, I should say. It's going to be worse than that. I think Pulo, being that he has that height, he has that reach, he has an okay defense, and he got a good jab. Sabir Matias loves just to hold the high guard too much, in my opinion, and he'll wait till punches will stop being thrown at him. In my opinion, I think Alberto Pulo showed resilience when he fought um, what's his name? Russell.
Gary
Russell
Antoine.
Yeah, Gary Antoine Russell. I thought that fight wasn't gonna look the way that it did, and he made me a fan when I watched that fight. He didn't have the best performance when he fought the Sandor Martin, but Sandor Martin and Sabir Matias is two totally different styles. I think really Alberto Perlo can pull this fight out. What do y'all think? Come on,
I mean,
eyes.
I think he can. I think he can. But the one thing I seen with Subriel Matias is that just boxing from the outside and moving are not enough. They're not enough because Malik Hawkins boxed well against him as far as like just jabbing and moving around and things of that sort.
Yeah.
Uh, Jakumbayev, similar. Jeremiah Ponce. What's my other guy's name? Ergashev was boxing phenomenally from in the first 4 rounds or so, and then he just started getting hit with shots, and it just slowed him down. But there is the key component, what you mentioned, is him fighting with those earmuffs on, right? If you look at the way that Liam Parrow fought him, Liam Parrow wasn't just beating him with movement. Liam Parrow, he punctuated every offensive attack with some form of guard manipulation or some type of control. So it's like he would like land a 1-2, but then on the way out is I'm gonna post this guy and just pin his guard up so he couldn't get his hands off. If you allow this guy to just work and keep his hands free, he's gonna slip little shots in there. And the fight with what's my man's name, Sandor Martin. While I do that, think that Sandor Martin is a lot more agile, got more wiggle to his game than what's my man's name, Subriel Matias. The one area in which Sandor kind of, I don't want to say that he exposed Puello, but he revealed that this part of Puello's game isn't necessarily the most developed. His inside game, like he was weak as hell on the inside, and that's where you do not want to be weak against a guy like Matias, because Matias is really good at ripping those little short shots. He's pretty good with like the little posting in the frame and then all that stuff on the inside
He is a
himself.
short shot king. I have to give him that.
Them short shots, some compact shots, crazy. So if Puello can't find a way to stifle his offense, not just with movement, but with physical controls, forget about it.
This is
My
a
guy, come
classic. It is
on.
a classic fight. Ashley, I really, this is the boxer versus the puncher. And both of these guys, Sandor Martin is a guy that, first of all, Devin Haney ducked. Let's when the Haney acts say that Devin hasn't ducked anybody, yeah, Devin ducked Sandor Martin. So Sandro Martin's a tricky style to look good against. I thought he beat Tio, and he's got underrated power because he knocked Tio down twice. Really, only one counted. Um, And then Subriel Matias, he wears folks down. Like the clinic that he put up against Jeremiah Ponce on, and I don't even know why he left the PBC and signed with Eddie Hearn. That was a dumb move. He fights a fight that no one wants to see against the Australian guy Paro that Eddie Hearn put together, and then Eddie Hearn drops him. So it was crazy how some of these guys get advised and then they just leave like the PBC and or leave their promoters and then they just go to someone who just drops them after their first loss. So to me, my question is Alberto Puello. I thought that him and Gary Antoine Russell. I didn't think it was a boxing clinic in terms of. I thought it could have gone either way. I was okay with the result for Puello. I would have been okay with Russell winning just barely or a draw. And I know that Gary Antoine wanted his lick back, but Turkey kind of stole that from him and made this one. Um, so I think that both have shown vulnerabilities. It's a matter of if Subriel will be able to cut off the ring effectively, not just follow Puello around the ring. Because otherwise, if he does, then Puello is just going to box his ears off. Puello is a high quality operator from that Dominican school of boxing. And Matias, we know he's killed somebody. Like I said about Crusher Kovalev, he's actually 187 somebody in the ring. But I lean slightly towards Puello. And if Puello wins, we can get the. I think Gary is going to fight his mandatory Hiroka, Japanese undefeated Japanese guy, on the Tank undercard whenever that fight gets announced, and then we'll get a rematch of that for unification. So yeah, I do lean towards Puello. Turkey wanted to make the ring smaller, and supposedly Puello and Shiraz vetoed it. They didn't want the ring size to be smaller, so we're going to get the standard boxing size ring for this card. And so, yeah, this is a fight that's really for us for Subriel Matias is really a crossroads fight for him because if he loses this fight, I mean, like he's a very dangerous fighter. He's was the mandatory that he dropped the IBF mandatory to fight Africa. We know that Richardson Hitchens didn't, for whatever reason, has not wanted to fight Subriel Matias when he was in position to be his mandatory. He said he didn't want the IBF to call him as a mandatory. And then when Subriel was working his way back up to be Hitchens mandatory, he was non-committal on going through with that fight. And we know Richardson Hitchens is a pretty good boxer. So this if Subriel doesn't win this, where does he go? What does he do? He's the kind of guy that he's got such thudding power that people are not going to be lined up to feed people to him or to have him on their cards without some kind of something to gain. And he's the kind of guy who needs a title. So for leverage, in other words. So it's really the pressure's all to me on Subriel Matias more so than Puello. But this is a classic rivalry between the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. So it'll do well in New York. People be excited about it. But I favor Puello just because I think that Gary Antoine Russell. I think Gary Antoine Russell, if he were to fight Subriel Matias, I think he beats him. And I really like how Puello performed in that fight. And, he performed, like you said, much better than we expected. It played out differently. And I favor ever so slightly Puello, but knowing that Subriel should be in really desperation mode. He should, this fight, his career is depending on this fight, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree because he was when he had the title. I remember his call out. He was like, "Tio, he was like Ryan. Who's Ryan?" Like he was talking greasy. He was talking real greasy for a while, and then he lost.
He said Devin Chicken. The Haniacs hate Subriel Matias.
Right. He was
Haney,
talking trash.
They lied on his name. Bill Haney got exposed for saying that Subriel demanded $4 million to fight.
$4 million.
Yeah, and the Haniacs got caught in another lie, slandering and libeling another boxer. That's all they do. And and he used to say, he said T.O. Pussy Ryan. Who's Ryan? Devin Chicken.
Yo, tell me why Josh Padley is doing the unofficial card for this damn main event with Jack Catterall and Harlem Eubank. Josh Padley is the unofficial, and right now it's the fifth round, and he got it tied up 2-2.
Padwork Padley, the guy who
Yeah,
fought Shakur, that Turkey
yes,
bought him a house. Padwork Padley, the union man.
he's doing the unofficial right now, man. That is crazy.
He got a stoppage in his last fight. Put some respect on Padley's name, man.
Yeah, right, right,
He
yo.
stopped the undefeated guy 13-0. Josh Padley's decent though.
Let's go.
He's a solid fighter, man. He's decent. He got a decent skill set.
I didn't know his skill set went all the way to doing the unofficial card for a main event either.
There you go. He's a man of many talents.
I see. Jack of all trades.
Like Mr. Ripley. He's talented.
I love
Okay.
that. I love those Subriel Matias videos when he was talking trash because Tio definitely ducked him. Tio has ducked Tiho, as I call him. He's ducked a lot of people.
I was
He
just about to say that T.O.'s my last little topic. I was just about to bring up T.O. And I honestly think, in my opinion, Kamal Eyes, every fighter that has an accent that calls out another fighter and use a cuss word is fucking hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
I love
I
that.
think all of it's hilarious. When the Duke Shakur got the funniest ones, I don't care. And Edward De Los Santos was funny when he when he called out Shakur. I think the funniest one was that the Javier dude, and he was like, "Don't play with me." He was like, "I kill you. I kill you. Send me a contract. I ain't no baby. Don't play with me. I ain't no baby. Don't play with me." We got the funniest ones, man. This shit was hilarious, yo. All that be funny. And when Canelo cusses, funny to me.
Oh yeah,
That's
Canelo.
hilarious.
Canelo has owned Crawford. I wouldn't know that Canelo's second language is English. The way he's trash talking Crawford, and Crawford's comebacks are so lame. That dude, Crawford. Let me say this. I know you want to go to Tiho, but let
Yo,
me
they
call
rolling
out.
on the ground. Dude, he had him in a headlock and they rolled backwards just now. He didn't even let go of the headlock until he got up. Jeez, Jack.
Let me say something about Crawford. Errol Spence gave you the farm more than you deserved to get that fight made. He didn't even really have to fight you. And the fact that you cannot name him as an elite fighter and you're naming Victor Postal, who was never on the level of Usyk or
Yeah,
Lomachenko,
I'm
wasn't
mad.
an Olympian, and you're naming Ricky Burns, who ducked a prime Adrian Broner when AB was destroying folks. Ricky Burns, I remember that clear as day because Gavin Reese stepped up to fight AB. Gavin Reese, I'll respect him 100 times more than I'll respect Ricky Burns. And you're listing these guys as elite fighters, and you're not giving Errol Spence his flowers. Show some grace, man.
Or
Show,
Sean
show
Porter. And that's supposed to be your friend.
exactly. And you're not saying using these guys as elite, and then Canelo's just schooling you because you said Victor Postal. Canelo said who? He
Who?
said it like that. Who? And
It is, and they talk about Hall of Fame so much. Is Victor in the Hall of Fame or is Sean? That you didn't want to
exactly.
say Sean's name. Like, come on, bro.
This guy is classless. I was going into the fight with Canelo because Canelo's one of the biggest ducks in boxing history.
Yes.
Even though he's ducked so many people coming up in 154, fed him welterweights instead of keeping him away, kept him away from his mandatory Vanes Martirosyan and had Martirosyan fighting nothing but eliminator after eliminator. And this guy's been ducking for a while. So I said, okay, I'm going to cheer for Crawford because he's an American and this and that. But now against Canelo, I don't care who wins because you cannot even give Errol his flowers. Errol has said that he's rooting for you. He said he's okay with this fight. Errol could have fought Canelo. They wanted, Canelo wanted to fight Errol. It was going to be a 164 catchweight, and Errol turned it down because Errol said, my goal is to be undisputed at welterweight. He gave you a damn coin flip as if this was a football game. For a ring walk when Errol was clearly the A side. And he took everything. He was at a disadvantage. Shouldn't have even been at 147. He should have done what Boots did and moved up because Boots knew he was at a disadvantage at welterweight just to fight you. And you cannot, even though you destroyed him that night, you cannot give this guy his flowers. That is a shame. And I will never cheer for him. So I hope it's a double knockout between him and Canelo because both of these guys I do not like. How are you telling me?
You say a double knockout,
Yeah,
right? No, both. I hope both of
both of
them.
them. How are you going to say Victor Postal and Ricky Burns are elite? You're the only one on planet Earth that's going to say that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. No Sean Porter, no Errol Spence. Everybody in their grandma would say that Errol Spence is the best one on your resume. And you don't have it in compunction. You don't have the just any kind of common sense, any kind of decency to say, yeah, I beat Errol. He's an elite guy. You have to constantly disrespect Errol, say he's not a Hall of Famer, and in so doing, you dish your own resume because nobody thinks Ricky Burns is elite. Nobody thinks Ndongo's elite. Maybe Ndongo gets into the Namibian Hall of Fame. He sure as hell not getting into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Nobody thinks these guys are elite. Hank Lundy, these guys, again, tailor-made opponents on the top ranked buffet. These guys are elite. And you cannot give Errol Spence props or just say anything good about him, despite the fact that Errol, how you screwed him over in negotiations, he lost millions. He's still saying he's supporting you and wanting you to be great. I can't root for that guy. What are your thoughts on that, Ashley?
I agree with everything you said, man. I think he's a piece of work, man. I think he's the pettiness that Bud has for everybody is unclaimed. There's no reason why. I don't know why he hates Earl so much. I don't know why he is the way he is, yo. This right here, look, they asked me to play this from the chat, yo.
Send me a contra. I'm here not for no play. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for no play. Send me a contra. I know, baby. Send me a contra. I will kill you. Send me a contra. No play with me. Send me a contra. Contra, I'm here. I'm here not for no play. You know.
La cámara Shakur.
The same, bro. Send me a contra. I'm here. I'm here not for no play. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for no play. Send me a contra. I know, baby. Send me a contra. I will kill you. Send me a contra. No play with me. Send me a contra.
Hadir, thank you. Congratulations. Enjoy this win.
Okay, bro. Thank you. Listen.
Yeah, so I had to play that. I had to play that for the chat, yo. I had to play that for the chat. But what y'all think about T.O. saying that? Okay, hold on. What y'all think about T.O. saying that? What y'all think about T.O. saying that? Brian Norman Jr. win was nothing because he fought a nobody.
Oh, T.O. just being T.O.
I didn't hear T-Ho say that, but again, T-Ho, you should have done that to Steve Claggett. And you went 12 rounds with a Canadian plumber. And Steve Claggett had your face all pieced up. You have no room to talk. You're out there, T.O.'s out there begging everybody for a payday. He's wearing PBC hats, begging Floyd and Al Heyman, saying that his contract with Top Rank allows him to fight on whatever platform. You know what, T.O., they're not going to give you the Canelo treatment because what T.O. wants is he wants a big fight, a big check, excuse me, for an easy fight. PBC will mess around and say, no, you're fighting Gary Antoine Russell. Because at PBC, they don't have fights like Top Rank, these fights where they match their champions. They know that their A side will win. They have the best matchmakers because they match their guys carefully. If T.O. fights on PBC, he doesn't bring the fan base and the ticket sales that Canelo does. So Canelo can have three cherry picks, which I totally disagree with PBC signing Canelo and giving them those three fights with Jermel, with Jaime Munguia, and Bumlonga. Those should have been done at DAZN. But T.O. is begging PBC for a bailout for welfare, and he's wearing PBC hats and stuff. Al is going to tell him, hey, look, we got Gary Antoine Russell for you. Take it or leave it. T.O. doesn't want those kind of fights. T.O. wants these easy fights for big paydays. So T.O., he was calling out Boots. He said he wanted the Boots fight. Turkey was broadcasting this. Now T.O. is lying and saying Boots ducked him. You can't duck somebody in a different division, period. And you brought nothing to the table to fight Boots. You actually had the opportunity to get the Boots fight because you could have used your top rank privilege for that WBO, moved up, challenged Brian Norman Jr., beat him, and then Boots would have fought you the next day. But you didn't do that. You ducked the Brian Norman Jr. fight. T-Ho has no room to talk, in my opinion. That's what I think about T-Ho. He's putting up these stinkers and he's demanding this big money. He's begging people for money, going to Floyd's gym, begging to join the PBC. But the PBC is notorious for saying, we will pay you what you weigh. So T-Ho, you fight Gary Antoine Russell. You fight somebody like that. We're not going to give you a fight for big money for nothing. What are your thoughts on that?
Shit, I agree. Everybody know if you sign the PBC, you gotta fight you know what I'm saying, the best people. PBC is not in the business of losing money. That's all the other companies. So in my opinion, yeah, I agree. Like was it T.O. has ducked more people than anybody, in my opinion, in those around those weight classes. Like what who it was Elvis Rodriguez, Kenneth Sims, it was Arnold Barboza before he fought him. It was mad people that the man was ducking. He was saying no to fighting everybody. Matias, everybody. Like for real, since he's been at 140 and he's a champion, all the man fought was Josh Taylor. It's like, and he purposely don't want to fight nobody, and he just keep calling out bigger names, and then somebody that's not in his weight class. It's crazy because 140 is filled with talent, and it's like he don't want to challenge himself versus nobody, and he keep talking opposite as if like he's a mental fuck. It's crazy, yo. Like he keep talking as if he's fighting the best people at the weight class, and he knows he's avoiding everybody while talking about people greater that's in a different weight class. Like it's sad, and I'm tired of hearing it. To don't want to fight nobody, period. And he got people coming up in the weight class of wanting to fight him. You know what I'm saying? You got my guy. I like um Jesus, his name was just on the tip of my tongue. But besides him, you got Keyshawn Davis moving up to 140. He want to fight him. The guy Roland Polanco, he just moved out of 140. So even if T.O. want to move up to 147, as if he was talking about fighting Boots, as if that fight was going to be at welterweight. There's people for the man to fight, and it's like T.O. don't want shit, and it seems like he's acting as if he got a tank fight lined up or some shit. That's why he don't want to fight nobody, but he hasn't fought nobody in years. So I agree with everything you said.
I don't know
Y'all
how he
weren't
has a tank
impressed by
fight.
y'all weren't impressed by his matchup with the great Pedro Campa.
You say it again?
I said y'all weren't impressed with his fight with the great Pedro Campa.
Oh, oh my God! Wasn't that his first fight, or was the second fight at 140 when he moved up? Man, the best thing that happened to him was him dropping him with that nice quick 1-2 and stopping him. That's the best thing that could have happened to him. But he got stains on his resume. He got stains on his style. He got stains on his notoriety, on his publicity. He got stains on the things that he said. He got stains on his fan base. That man fought. He fought Sandor Martin and looked bad. He fought that guy that you just said, Campa, and looked bad in my opinion. He fought Cambosos and he looked bad. He fought that tall Japanese dude and he looked bad. Like he got a lot of bad performances for real. Tio got bad performances after bad performance after bad performance. He fought one or two good names, which is Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, but Josh Taylor was washed after that. So you got one real good win, which is Lomachenko, and I knew he was going to win that fight. I said he was going to win that fight. But boxing is a what have you done for me lately sport, and he ain't done nothing. Like for real, what do you think about Tio and McQueen? And him saying that his Brian Norman's win was against a nobody, so it don't mean nothing.
I mean, if his intention was to drum up
Can you hear him? Come on, I can't hear him.
yo yo yo,
He cut off. Is he back?
Can
You
you hear
back?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying if his intention is to keep his name permeating throughout social media and on YouTube, then job well done. Me personally, I do rate the Jin Sasaki fight on the basis that, for one, it allowed us to see the growth in Brian Norman Jr. That's important to me. I know people love, I know people love the big names and all that other stuff. I do, but in the past, with guys like Boca Chica, he didn't really necessarily look too good. So I do feel like Jin Sasaki, although he's not the most skilled guy, he certainly possessed enough to entice Brian Norman Jr. into a firefight. But I was really impressed with his composure and that he showed in the ring. He did a lot of good things. Like even with the knockout that he scored, it wasn't something that was just given to him. That was a beautiful counter. Sasaki
Yeah.
went to stab to the body. He caught it on the arm. You know what I mean? Nice little step over, drilled him with a left hand. Like that's just beautiful execution. And Sasaki, once again, just to speak to the level of danger that he posed. This is a guy that was 19 and 0 with what 17 knockouts or something like that. So the guy can punch. The guy's no slouch. That's not the guy that you want to be falling asleep on. And Brian Norman Jr. never did that. He didn't fall asleep on that guy. Stayed
Yeah.
wide awake and he handled business. So I was very impressed with that. And then also just leading up to the fight, going out to Japan several weeks in advance, it damn near felt like he moved to Japan. He was out there for like over 3 weeks before the fight. And then the videos were surfacing where he was just in the gym, just getting work in. And that's what you want to see from a young fighter. Brian Norman Jr. is still a baby in the game. Like, what did he just turn 24? So the
Yeah.
fact that he's that dedicated to his craft and he's getting better and he's doing it with a lot of intentionality and attentiveness. Like he's working on the things that have given him trouble in the past. Like in the past, we've seen this guy, the Quentin Randall fight, and I don't think that he struggled mightily with Quentin Randall just himself, but also with his technique. Like Brian used to have a really bad issue with the smothering. He used to smother a whole lot, falling in, smothering, not working cleanly and efficiently. So that's what I really liked about the Jin Sasaki performance. It was the most surgical, the most clean, the most efficient, the most effective performance that I've seen from him. Like Kamal alluded to, yeah, T.O., he did struggle with Steve Claggett, but I'm gonna shoot him a little bit of bail on that one on the basis that Steve Claggett is a pretty good fighter in his own right. Like I did a little bit of study on him prior to the fight. Thanks so much. You're welcome. Have a nice night. You too. Yeah, but I seen the couple of the fights that he had. Um, the most notable fight before T.O. is probably with Miguel Medueno, who is not the most skilled guy, not the most crafty guy, but he's a sturdy guy. You seen Keyshawn hit this guy with everything and the kitchen sink. Couldn't get the guy up out of there. And Steve Claggett, just a crafty, durable, veteran guy. One of those guys who didn't have the benefit of being affiliated. Because that's really what this comes down to. And this is why I'm not really like the biggest fan of like all of the accolade and achievement talk, because it ultimately comes down to opportunity. And everybody's opportunities aren't the same. More guys would have a Steve Claggett type trajectory if they weren't favored, if they didn't have the resources, if they didn't have the matchmaking, if they had to really climb up every rung of the ladder, like a Tevin Farmer or a Gabriel Rosado. I feel like Steve Claggett is in that mold. Like he's a guy who can fight. But T.O., he's not a confrontational guy, but he likes to run his mouth on the internet. And I believe that's part of the reason why we're never going to see him fight some of these guys. That's in live with my own eyes at the Hulu Theater. Keyshawn pressed him, and this dude had a police escort move him about the venue after that.
Wow.
Like it was bad. I don't want to call him the P word or nothing like that because I don't disrespect other men, but he's just not a confrontational guy. So I can understand why he would try to maximize his dollar while minimizing his risk.
T.O. the walking promotion that nobody wants to see or hear about. Shit. Sad. Sad, y'all. But I'm gonna have to get on up out of here. Salute to everybody that came in the building. Special salute to Aunt McQueen and Kamal Oz and everybody who supported the channel, came in and hit that like button, and everybody who gave to the channel through Super Chat and through Cash Apps today. Definitely appreciate you. Aunt McQueen, Kamal Oz. Anything you want to say before we get on up out of here?
Go ahead, Ant.
I'll say this. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to Kamal. You, Ash. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the laughs. Of course, Kamal had me crying. I had to mute myself when he was going on his tirade of Bud Crawford, because I'm somewhere in the middle on Bud. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate the skill set and everything like that. And actually, from watching his vlogs and everything, like I don't mind Bud the character. Like he seems like a cool dude. But he whooped Errol Spence's ass, and prior to that, he whooped my other favorite fighter's ass, the Yoriokas Gamboa. To this day, I'm still screaming justice for Yoriokas. But man, appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. I gotta go check out this Harlem Eubank though. Gotta go throw that on.
Definitely appreciate you, Aunt McQueen.
Thank you for the opportunity, Ashley. Always a pleasure. Again, you're one of the brightest minds I know. So I love your channel. I promote your channel. I send videos to friends on Facebook for you because I really think you've done great work. Ever since I first saw you on a bigger platform, I followed you. And Tiho is a guy who thinks he's just delusional. He thinks he's brings Canelo's fan base and he can cherry pick and stuff like that. He doesn't want to represent Honduras. Now he wants to represent Spain. The guy's lost. He's pulling this racism card, thinking that that's going to get him fights. Al doesn't care about that. Floyd doesn't care about that. PBC, you pay what you weigh. So you don't even want to fight Richardson Hitchens. You're ducking everybody. And you think you're going to talk your way into a Tank fight by being racist? Tank ain't going to do that. You are not who you think you are. So that's my T-hole rant right now. He in the ancient times, like in the days of King Arthur and the knights, he would have been the jester. That jester is the clown that performs for the emperor, and he would have said some stuff that would have gotten him hanged and executed. That's Tio Lopez, Teofimo. He's not going to talk his way into a Tank payday. He's not going to do that without taking risk. Al's going to make you fight somebody. So go ask for welfare somewhere else. Go play the racism card somewhere else because Tank is not going to take it. With that, I'm out. Thank you.
Thanks, Kamal Oz. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you. Definitely appreciate everybody that came in the building. Hit that like button. I don't think we really have any more fights today that's going on. All that good fights is going to be popping next Saturday. And I will be live next Saturday, probably around 3 p.m. so I can, get out what I got to say before those fights start. But salute to everybody that came in the building. Salute to everybody that's going to see this on the replay. Hit that like button. And as always, peace, love, and soul. Your girl is out.
I'm working outside. Penny X.